time to Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
And a good Tuesday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man, John Kincade. Johnny, we are, somebody said on one of our YouTube shows, we do post-show headlines every day, that we're like 220 days away from the next season.
Well, wait, I can look at the countdown clock and tell you.
I'm surprised you don't already have that up.
I do. It is Eagles openers 215 days away.
All right, so we're getting closer.
Well, that's if they play on the Sunday that opens the season. If they play on, they can't play opening night, so if they played that Friday night, it could be 213, but I think it's 215.
All right, so we're under 220.
So the 215.
There you go.
How about that? The 215. How about that for you?
We're about 215 days away from the Eagles opener.
You know what, though?
Can't wait.
We have so much fun between now and then and Connor's going to bring us some fun today on the Phillies. We have so much fun.
Wait, Phillies and fun? What's that?
We have so much fun to look forward to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Always looking forward to third quarters for Sixers games.
And it was 23 degrees this morning.
Those are always fun to look forward to.
Yeah.
We
had the warmest, how about this? Your warmest morning in like a month.
Yeah.
How about that on the drive in?
That's ridiculous.
There we go.
I need this to be.
We're okay.
All
It'll
right.
be over soon.
So we're going to start with our beloved Eagles today, as we are 215 days away or so from the next season for the Eagles. And yesterday, during the show, we touched on this, but it was not something that we dove deep into. So we are going to dive deep into it today, because we had a post-show meeting, and going back and listening to some of the audio, we were like, maybe we should go further on this conversation. So the Seattle Seahawks just 2 days ago won the Super Bowl. They beat the New England Patriots 29-13. And Sam Darnold, who hoisted the Lombardi Trophy, was not the MVP. Kenneth Walker was the MVP, 27 carries, 135 yards.
Anyone have a problem with that?
No, I saw.
I did, but I bet it.
A lot of people thought that the kicker should have won MVP.
That's ridiculous.
Because he put up the first 12 points in the football game.
No.
But Sam Darnold was there, right? 19 of 38,
yeah, he was there.
202 yards and a touchdown.
He
and
was there.
If you watch the game, they took a couple shots early, but then once they saw what their defense was able to do against Drake May and against the left tackle that just had one of the worst days ever, I think the Seattle Seahawks realized, led by McDonald and Kubiak, your head coach and your offensive coordinator, all right, we don't have to do too much here.
Nope.
We need to sustain drives. We need to put up points. Let's take the points when they're there. How about
Isn't that an ironic thing if you just think about it?
Let's take the points.
Yeah. If the Eagles had done that, if Jacksonville had done that, if other teams had done that, they might have still been playing.
And our defense is going to do what they have been doing all season long, and that's dominate, because the Seahawks defense was one of the better defenses in the National Football League from week 1 through the freaking Super Bowl. And you and I joked yesterday. Now, sometimes we make funny quips because, we don't really know how else to take it in just yet. But Nick Sirianni was probably watching that game on Sunday and saying, yeah, this is exactly how it's supposed to be done.
He was loving that game plan.
He was the only guy that probably enjoyed the Super Bowl, unless you were a Seahawks fan. The only person that was not a Seattle Seahawks fan that enjoyed the Super Bowl was Nick Sirianni, because he watched his offense. He watched the don't turn the ball over.
Yep.
We'll take a couple shots downfield. We're going to run the football, but we're going to be careful with it because we know that our defense is going to get its job done.
Well, the only difference being is he watched an offense that had motion in it.
Sure.
He watched an offense that looked somewhat creative and had a bunch of different pass patterns that had slants in it and a much different passing tree. But yes, a very conservative play calling in the offense that Nick Sirianni must have felt warm and fuzzy about.
Yeah, he probably loved it.
He loved it.
He
loved it.
He watched that Super Bowl like whenever you're down in the dumps, you put on your favorite rom-com or you put on your favorite comedy. That comfort viewing, right? That was comfort viewing for Nick Sirianni. Now,
he was loving it.
We say that jokingly, but let's face it. The last two teams that have won the Super Bowl have had careful offenses.
Careful.
So we are in a world right now where analytics is a big part of decision making, right? Whether or not to go for it on fourth down, 3 points is more than 2 in the sport of basketball, right? More shots on goal means more chances to score goals in hockey. Home runs, it's okay if you strike out because if you hit a home run, you score a run. So there are things about analytics that impact the way teams are played. But analytics is always used for your argument. Nick Sirianni's argument would be, well, not turning the football over means less opportunities for the opposing team to then score touchdowns. That's his version of analytics.
I think he would say I think probably his argument would be less possessions, limiting possessions.
Yeah.
When you keep teams under 12 possessions a game or 13 possessions a game, exponentially, every single number, every possession goes down, your team's chances to win go up exponentially.
And look, it always changes in sports, right? This version of football will change for all we know, next year. There was once a time where Chip Kelly's mindset was more possessions means more chances to score the football.
And in the NFL, though, that never held. Chip tried it.
It didn't work, but he tried it, and he did have success for 2 years. I know they didn't make the playoffs the second year, but they had winning records for 2 straight years. And at one point, there were a lot of people going, wow, how do you stop this? And ignore the fact that their defense literally couldn't breathe because they were out of oxygen by the second quarter because first down, touchdown, get down, which is what Chip Kelly would say, was not necessarily the best formula. Point that we're getting at, the last 2 Super Bowl champions had very careful approaches offensively. Now, you're going to have that game where you got to go all out. And they had that against the Rams, where they had to throw the football. And Sam Darnold was spectacular. Remember, Jalen Hurts had to do that.
He did it against he threw it when he needed to against Washington, and then he did it in the Super Bowl in the biggest stages.
Yeah.
And he did it against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and he was awesome. So he's shown he can do it, and he did it.
So are we learning? A couple weeks ago, we did a show after the divisional round of the playoffs because the Eagles were out of it, right? And we watched the teams that advanced. We watched the teams that won the divisional round and went to championship weekend.
The most painful weekend of all for all of us, I believe.
Because the Niners lost 41-6 after they beat the Eagles. But we watched that week, and one of our questions was, all right, what did we learn from that week? What did we learn about these 4 teams that are playing championship weekend where you're going, this is how things work in the NFL in this current era? Well, are we learning that there is a bit of a formula to winning in the NFL right now, and it is by being careful?
Could be recency bias.
Well,
I think there's certain parameters you got to have. The Eagles have it, the dominant defense.
Yeah.
You got to have that dominant defense, and if you've got the dominant defense in place, then sure, you could say it might work for you. But what you need to be able to do is at times you need to be able to move the football. You need to be able to move the football by the air. And whether teams can do that or not, whether teams have elaborate enough passing games is one thing. Are you going to be able to have a harmonious locker room if you try to do it? The Eagles won a Super Bowl with a conservative offense.
Yeah.
And doing it that. And what did they have? They had a disgruntled A.J. Brown who disrupted the entire team by his antics, being pissed about it. And so you couldn't keep one of your star players happy. He wasn't happy just winning.
But
and so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't happy.
His happiness did not make Kevin Patullo better or worse.
But I disagree with you.
I think Kevin Patullo was going to be bad regardless.
Yeah, I disagree with you completely because if Kevin Patullo didn't have to appease A.J. Brown, the offense completely changed once A.J. Brown's tweets came out. Once his Instagram post came out. Completely changed. You had Devontae Smith. You had Dallas Goedert. You guys in record paces. You had a 4-0 football team. And then you had to worry about keeping A.J. Brown happy, oiling the squeaky wheel, and everything changed. I don't know what Patullo could have potentially done if he didn't have the pressure of keeping A.J. Brown off his back. They changed they changed things. They started to throw everything to A.J. Brown. I don't know, but to me, I do understand what the point of reference being is that this is a conservative can win. Your defense just has to ball out, but you still have to be able to have the threat of being successful everywhere else.
And by the way, that's your last 2 Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, and
oh, by the way, the Patriots, the team that the Seahawks beat, and I get it, the Patriots. We could talk about their schedule all season long, and
you should, by the way.
Yeah, no,
you should, and I think it showed out. In the Super
but you know
Bowl.
what? It showed out in the Super Bowl, right? They got to the Super Bowl, and their mindset was very good defense. Let's run the ball. Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson. I understand that Drake May was the runner-up for MVP. Again,
which was ridiculous.
Part of that may be because of the schedule, but
maybe
you know what they ultimately wanted to do. They wanted to run the football. They wanted to be beasts up front. They wanted to play good defense, which is exactly what Seattle did en route to a win, which is exactly what the Eagles did the previous year. So are we in an era right now? It's going to change. Football changes all the time. Just 3 years ago, we were talking about how you had to throw for 400 yards in order to win football games, right? Like it wasn't that long ago where the Eagles in 2022 were more of a pass-happy team. I understand that statistically, it wasn't necessarily there. I heard Bill doing this whole thing a couple of weeks ago. It's because they were up so big in the third quarter. That,
they used to take the air out of the ball.
Yeah, they just started running the football. The second quarter, they were a historic second-quarter team where they scored touchdowns all the time.
They were the greatest of all time.
And that was the Eagles 4 years ago where they threw the football en route to wins. And then a couple years later, it's run the football in order to win. Are we in an era right now where the conservative approach is actually the right way to go about it, which then makes things interesting that you're bringing in Sean Mannion, who's considered one of the more intelligent offensive minds.
That's a good way to put it.
And he's not a conservative approach guy. He is a guy that comes up with gadget plays, pre-snap motion. I'm not saying gadget double reverse pass downfield. I'm just saying doing things where you go, oh, wow, that's interesting, which the Eagles have not done on offense the last 2 years.
Yeah, when's the last time you said the Eagles did something interesting? How about this? Some of the red zone this year, we did say that.
Yes.
We said it was creative.
And that's maybe why they were at their best in the red zone, more so than any other spot in the field.
Right. Okay, so to me, and that's really what I took away yesterday are they changing things? Are they fixing something that's not broken? It's broken statistically, but is it broken with their winning record? Is it broken with their record of success? And I say to you this is, I bet you under truth serum that Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert would not tell you that the offense was broken when they were on record-setting paces this year through 6 games. I don't think either one of them would have told you that the offense was broken.
Sure.
So to me, it's the idea that is this team catering to us? Now, when I say us, I'm speaking to the YouTube audience, the callers, the texters, the talk show hosts, because believe me this, I've spoken to enough players over time and seen enough people at the stadium. Those YouTube reels that end up on Instagram and everything, they see them.
Yeah.
They see them. Because every once in a while you get somebody that'll say to you, what were you talking about? Or what was that about? And usually it's joking.
Sure.
Usually it's not people being butthurt. It's that they'll give you a little crap for it. But I wonder, are they catering to us? Man, our offense is so boring. Our offense is this. It's so... Are they trying to appease us? Are they not? And I don't mean us. I'm not putting the ego on it like they're worried about us. But it's just the collective us of the Philadelphia fan base. Are they trying to quiet us down?
Well, us could also be the owner.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Interesting.
I just saw a comment from our YouTube chat. Leamy Loam.
What's up, Leamy?
Lori wants to throw for 400 yards, LOL. Which again...
I don't think that's an LOL.
I've referenced this article numerous times because it was tremendous. I still remember it was Zach Berman, Sheil Kapati, and Bo Wolf. They were all writing for The Athletic at the time. And
that's a star-studded cast.
And the three of them put together, they did a deep dive article on sort of the strangeness that was going on in NovaCare. This was after Doug Peterson got fired. And remember, there was a lot of talk like, why would you fire the guy that won your first Super Bowl ever? Why would you move on from him? And there was a lot of interesting nuggets, like how they manipulated the media and how Howie would text certain people to get certain things out there.
Oh, no, he doesn't do that. Yeah, he does.
It was a really interesting article.
He does.
And one of the parts of the article was after the Eagles went to Lambeau on a Thursday night and beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And when they were celebrating in the locker room, Jeffrey Lurie went up to Doug Peterson and was like, how come you didn't throw the ball more? And Doug kind of thought he was joking, like, all right, Jeff, good win today, huh? And he was serious.
Well, here's my problem that I always have had with that reporting. And by the way, those guys are awesome. I've just told you, I think they're spectacular. When you're not in that conversation, you can't tell me tone, tenor, and how it was really. You could tell me how Doug took it.
Right, whoever
tell me
whoever told you what happened.
Right, but you can't tell me how the real dynamic went. You could tell me how one person perceived it that shared the story. But to me, I'm always a little tenuous on that one. But
the fact that it was perceived in a certain way is interesting.
But I absolutely do believe that's what Jeffrey Lurie wants. So I'm not questioning that part of the reporting. I believe that's the offense that Jeff Lurie wants. He wants that. And by the way, just to that point, like you're talking about like Howie getting the word out and everything. Howie Roseman's a bright general manager. The team executives always know the members of the media that are willing in town to be used. They always know which members of the media that they can pretend to befriend and they can use them. They always know, okay, I got to get this message out. How can I get this message out? Well, I'm sort of buddy with this guy. I'll get it out to them and it'll look like it's just out there.
Sure.
And this person will be a willing fool to carry the water for me. That happens all the time. So it happens.
It's interesting because, again, the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, and we talked about how boring the offense was. The Seahawks won the Super Bowl just 2 days ago, and we talked about how boring the game was. We on this show have talked about how boring is good as long as it works. Last year for the Eagles, the 2024-25 season, they were, other than Saquon Barkley, doing reverse hurdles over people, they were boring.
I have no problem with an offense being boring.
We talked about game manager Jalen Hurts. People took offense to it, but that's what he was last year. Not saying that he's always got to be that. We saw him go to a Super Bowl in 2022 by throwing the football. We saw him play out of his mind in 2 Super Bowls. But sometimes the week calls for him being a game manager. And last year, majority of the games, he was a game manager. Last year, meaning the 2024 season when they win the Super Bowl. He literally threw 18 passes against the Ravens in a game where you're going, man, this is going to be one of those games where Jalen's going to have to put the team on the back.
Nope.
And he didn't. He threw the ball 18 times, and Saquon ran for 200 yards, and they won.
It's one of the reasons why I wonder, and people are just going to hate it, but I'll say it because I believe it, is whether bringing back, even trying to salvage the relationship with A.J. Brown makes any sense. Because the guy wasn't happy winning a Super Bowl playing in an offense like that. So now they're bringing in Sean Mannion, though, who appears to not be a guy who wants to do that kind of offense. So maybe they're capitulating to that. Maybe part of the Sean Mannion hire is to keep A.J. Brown here.
Could be. And look, he's talented, so I want him here.
Yeah. I want a guy who's all in. I want a player who's all in.
Yep,
and I wonder if he's not all in. He wasn't all in.
It might be this year with Sean Mannion.
Isn't that great? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So this year he's going to be all in?
Yeah, and I'll take it.
I don't want somebody to say, now
baby, come back.
On his terms, he's all in?
Baby, come back.
So he literally pissed away a season for you by not being all in.
I think there was a lot of
who else did?
Peeing that
Who
happened.
else did?
The offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
No. The offensive coordinator was incompetent. What player on the team can you even insinuate?
No, I wouldn't say anybody actually peed away, but I think there was a lot of issues with the football team. Health was one of them. I wouldn't call that peeing away.
Health, I'm not giving anybody grief about health.
No, I'm not.
I'm going to give a grief about players on the field who it wasn't health, who didn't give full effort. I'm going to give grief about players on the field who were being paid tens of millions of dollars.
A.J. Brown's catching strays this morning.
It's not catching strays. It's what it is.
We're wondering if there's a formula to win.
No, it's
A.J. Brown's a part of it.
Because I believe that's what they could be doing, is they could be changing things to try to capitulate to somebody who didn't give them his full effort this year.
I can't imagine that the organization would hire an offensive coordinator to make A.J. Brown happy.
Well, no, I think they got rid of an offensive coordinator because they thought he was stupid. I think they thought the guy was terrible.
And I think a lot of people agree.
By the way, he's still in the building.
Yeah,
right?
Which is weird.
He's still in the building as of yesterday. He's still around.
Yeah, I find that very strange.
Can you explain that to me? If anybody can explain that to me, I'd love to hear.
I find that very strange.
Good.
All right.
At least we agree on that.
Do you believe there is a formula to win in the NFL right now? And is that formula what we mock Nick Sirianni for? Prevent offense, which was a term that came up a lot this year. The conservative approach. The stuff that we mocked Nick Sirianni for, is that the current formula to win? Because you just saw it 2 days ago with Seattle. You can text the show. You can call in 610-632-0975. YouTube always as well. Good morning, YouTube. We appreciate you. Now, coming up next, speaking of the Eagles and the Seahawks, I was sent something totally ridiculous yesterday. I don't know if you've heard it yet, Johnny. It was from Colin Cowherd.
Well,
about
what was on Colin's script yesterday?
About quarterback play.
Yes.
We will play that for you coming up next. Also, can an offensive line coach have more pressure than the offensive coordinator? John Kincaid's thinking maybe. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles find their offensive line coach. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles hired their next offensive line coach after the departure of Jeff Stoutland, bringing in yesterday Chris Cooper. Cooper, who played 8 years at guard for the Broncos, was Minnesota's offensive line coach for the past 4 years, giving him some familiarity with Eagles' new OC, Sean Mannion. A big question for Cooper is who's going to be available to play on that offensive line? Zach Berman of The Athletic joined us yesterday on Kincade and Salciunas and talked about it.
The thing with Lane, he's a prideful person. I think the big thing with him is he feels like he can physically be the best right tackle in football. I think we're going to see him out there, but I think a lot of that depends on how he's feeling health-wise.
Questions with the future of Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson as well. We'll keep you updated as the Eagles continue to fill out their staff and get closer to the portion of offseason where they can make roster moves. The Sixers lost to the Trailblazers late last night, 135-118, as their West Coast trip comes to a close. The Blazers made 22 threes in the game, including 8 from Toumani Camara, a career-high 30 points for him. They're off tonight to have their last game before the All-Star break tomorrow night. And pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow. Amy Fadul, she reports for 2 hours worth of work with us at 8 a.m. Mark Schlereth joins us at 8:30. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Kincade Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right, 6:30 on this Tuesday morning here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Thank you for being a part of the show every single day, or even if you're just checking out for the first time, we hope we don't screw it up. Coming up in a few minutes.
You're all dressed. By the way, Andrew, all dressed up today.
I wanted YouTube to appreciate me for once. Usually I show up in sweats.
Looking good, looking sharp.
We will talk about the new offensive line coach here in a couple of minutes because obviously the Jeff Stoutland walk away happened. So they hired Chris Cooper. In case people don't know, Kuper. Cooper.
So he's the weird thing was I saw he was an offensive lineman. I saw he was from Alaska. And I saw he played for Denver.
So you're like, wow, that's one other person in the world that's ever happened to.
So I called Stink yesterday, Mark Schlereth, who will join us later on in the show at 8:30.
2 hours.
So I called up Stink, and I'm like, I said, hey, do you know this guy? Get back to me if you can. And he calls me up, and he goes, yeah, I know him well. I helped train him for the draft when he got drafted, which helped guide him to Denver, I would believe.
Yeah.
And then he's known him well throughout his career. He'll have some good insights on your new offensive line coach, also an Anchorage guy. And life in Anchorage, man.
Kind of amazing that there are two offensive linemen from Alaska that played for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, well, I think that probably the training of Mark Schlereth.
I'm sure that helped.
Now, I think Chris Cooper has much better hygiene than Stink did.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Well, Stink
All
did.
due respect.
Now, I will tell you now, though. Yeah, Connor, I will tell you now, though.
Soap.
Yesterday, when the phone call came in, I'm sitting in the living room, and I'm there with Christina, and she's like, hi, Stink. My wife, big fan of Mark. She finds him on the just incredibly charming, handsome, loves Mark.
What's not to love?
Loves Mark.
All right, so yesterday, it's a shame because you and I try to do sports talk a little bit differently. All right, I understand that people listening, oh, you guys are always angry about stuff. Well, I mean, when we react, and let's face it, sports, you lose more often than you win, especially big picture stuff, right? So that happens. But the day after the Super Bowl, when the Eagles won, it was a day of celebration, right? 2 years ago, or a year and a day ago.
Yeah, spectacular.
We weren't trying to do, where's Jalen Hurts rank?
No,
all this kind of, it was just.
All we did was joy for, I think all we did was joy for weeks.
I know it happened in the city of Philadelphia, but we didn't do that. We just wanted to celebrate it and give Jalen Hurts his props, but we weren't about to start doing all right, let's break down where he ranks and let's do this and let's do that hard-hitting sports talk. That was a day of celebration. But sometimes national media gets into that kind of stuff. So yesterday, our own Scott Masteller, our great program director, who knows Colin Cowherd well from
he does.
From a previous haunt.
Yes, he does.
He sent me.
He brought him to Bristol.
He sent me a clip of Colin Cowherd from his show on Fox, The Herd. And the Super Bowl hadn't been over for, I don't know, what time's his show start? He's midday?
He starts in the midday, yes.
So it'd been 16 hours, if that, since the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. And he has to already start trying to figure out where Sam Darnold ranks among other quarterbacks in the NFL. And, of course, Jalen Hurts has to come up. Take a listen to what Colin Cowherd had to say about Sam Darnold versus other quarterbacks, including Jalen Hurts.
I think you start looking at the NFL. Jalen Hurts, you guys have all, for the last couple of years, have been trying to tell me Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts are top 10 quarterbacks. So is Sam Darnold now a top 10 quarterback? He's bigger than both. He's got a bigger arm than both. I would say he's as athletic as Jalen Hurts, much better in the pocket, bigger athlete, throws over the middle of the field better. So all you wanted Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy in the top 10, ask yourself this. Right now, look in the NFC. What quarterback in the NFC tomorrow, if you're building a franchise, Darnold's only 28. What quarterback do you take over Sam Darnold? Nobody's taken Brock Purdy. Not a single GM. Nobody's taken Jalen Hurts over Sam Darnold. Nobody. Darnold is loved in the locker room. I have a source that tells me, and this is now public, Jalen Hurts is not. He doesn't galvanize a locker room. So ask yourself, in the NFC, who would you take?
All right. So I would love to, because I know Colin does the show solo most times. Sometimes he has
he has people that
Jason McIntyre sits
well,
in. Well,
McIntyre sits in, and he has other people. I would tell you this, and I love Colin. I did Colin's show for 5 years when he was out. Mm-hmm. So when he was off, I was in doing his show. I would tell you his personal knowledge of day-to-day operations of the Philadelphia Eagles could fill a shot glass.
Okay,
but I'm not questioning that he has people that he knows that he can talk to.
Sure.
Because he absolutely does.
But I would, if I was sitting next to Colin during that clip that we just played for you, my first question would be, other than measurables, all right, because we love doing this. Justin Herbert, prototype, right? Tall, strong arm, big body, can move.
Sure.
All this kind of stuff. Other than measurables, name me the thing that Sam Darnold has over Jalen Hurts. You can't tell me Super Bowl ring because they both have one.
Jalen Hurts was a decidedly better college winner at both spots. Decidedly better college winner at both locations that he was. Even getting replaced at Alabama, he was a better winner at Alabama than Darnold was.
Jalen Hurts played better in both Super Bowls. Even the one that he lost, he played better than what Sam Darnold did.
His Super Bowl performances, not even close, by the way, against far better opposition.
Right.
Considerably better opposition.
The Kansas City Chiefs, a dynasty, both times.
I mean, are you kidding me? Like are you serious?
Yeah, the only thing is Darnold has back-to-back 14-win seasons.
Jalen Hurts has a 14-win season in his resume.
He has a 14-win season, a 13-win season, an 11-win season, and a 12-win season. So he averages out at 12 and a half.
Jalen Hurts has never been labeled a bust.
By the way, Jalen the last 4 years has averaged 12 and a half wins.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find something.
No, I mean, he doesn't.
Here's the one thing
Colin's scriptwriter yesterday was not good.
The one thing he has over him, he got drafted higher. Like, that's the one thing that he has over Jalen Hurts in their respective careers is that, Darnold was third overall pick, and Jalen Hurts was drafted in the second round.
I would ask Colin in his fine analysis there, Colin, why has one guy managed to be with one organization and stick, while one guy has managed to just bounce and bounce and bounce from organizations that didn't believe in him?
And it's a shame because
we want Darnold to be.
I want to celebrate a guy who had that story. Like, I just want to be like, wow, what a great story. That was the one takeaway I had from Super Bowl 60 because the game sucked, right? So my one takeaway was, wow, that was a really good story. This guy that's bounced around, labeled a bust, he was a backup for a couple of years, earned his contract that he got from Seattle and wins in year one. Like, I celebrate that storyline. That's a beautiful storyline. And yet I hear stuff like that, and then I have to start going, damn it, I have to now bring down Sam Darnold, even though he just won the Super Bowl 48 hours ago.
My exact thought was, how does Colin Cowherd make Sam Darnold unlikable the day after the Super Bowl? Because no, he does. Because he makes you compare him. The stuff that he starts citing makes you go, false narrative, false narrative, false narrative.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Colin had a bad script writer that day.
Well, and
bad script.
I was thinking, like, all right, how could anybody? Because I already see our YouTube chat chiming in on this a little bit, and I appreciate you guys being a part of the conversation.
I will tell you this, he is completely wrong on one thing. One of them he's completely wrong on.
What's that?
He's out of his freaking mind if he says there isn't a general manager in football that would take Jalen Hurts over.
Yeah, I'm sure there's.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah.
Now, do I know that it would be a majority that would take Jalen Hurts? I don't know. I'm not sure. But he's out of his mind.
Right.
There are many, many teams. If Howie Roseman ever let it be known that Jalen Hurts was available,
people would call.
People
would come, right?
There would absolutely, and also more importantly, there's a guy who's been on the street multiple times, who's been put out with the recycling. Today's trash day for us. He's been put out with the recycling.
And I saw JM chime in on our YouTube chat saying, put Jalen on that Jets team and we can see how he'd do. I'll tell you right now, JM, Jalen would suck on that team. Just like any quarterback probably would suck on that Jets team. But here's the deal. You can't even give me Jalen has benefited with playing with this talent because look at what happened when Sam Darnold actually got talent around him.
Yeah, because he benefited.
14 wins with Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
Super Bowl championship with Jackson Smith and Jigba, who, by the way, was already being talked about as being one of the next best receivers in the league. So don't tell me that Sam Darnold made him. So, like, anybody that uses the talent reason for Jalen Hurts, the same can be said about Sam Darnold. Once he had a good ground game and good weapons around him, look at what happened. That's why that argument to me sucks, because every quarterback would benefit from having that kind of talent. It's what sets aside the GOATs, like a Tom Brady that didn't need everything and was able to still win. But a lot of quarterbacks need everything around them clicking in order to succeed.
Oh, wait. Tom Brady had 3 Super Bowls that he won with a top 5 defense.
Sure. Yeah, that helps too.
So, I mean, seriously, can we stop with the, like, Tom Brady, like, Tom Brady's like picking up guys off the streets and winning. Tom Brady was carried to his first 2 Super Bowls. His first 2 rings, he was carried to by a defense that was spectacular.
Yeah.
And everything. So, I mean, hey, come on. It's every quarterback that wins has great talent around them.
Absolutely.
Every one of them.
I can't believe I heard that yesterday.
Colin was off base on this one.
I agree.
Way off base.
All right. Chris Cooper, the new offensive line coach. You're wondering, does he have more pressure than Mannion?
Yeah, I actually think he does. This is going to sound crazy.
It is crazy.
Okay. I'm telling you right now, I believe Cooper will be under more pressure than Mannion. Because who is Mannion replacing?
Yeah, Kevin Petula.
He's replacing a guy that everybody looks at as the court jester. Who is Cooper replacing?
A legend.
Correct. So right there, that is the first line of the premise. Second line of the premise is, what do people understand, when they're looking at an offensive line coach? People don't understand the intricacies of it.
Which is why I would say there's not as much pressure.
Oh, I disagree with you. See, completely disagree, because what I think is that people don't understand it. So what do? Oh, my gosh, if they start giving up sacks, it's all the offensive line coach sucks. They're going to blame it on the offensive line coach. So it's because they don't understand it. By the way, I'm right with you. I don't understand either. When I have questions about the offensive line and I'm not understanding stuff, I text Schlereth and ask him to explain stuff to me. Because, like, if I'm not understanding what's going on with this or whatever, I've got guys that I can lean on. It is, to me, I think Cooper's under more pressure than Mannion. Because if Cooper sucks, Mannion may get more of a pass.
Maybe. I also think you're comparing a middle reliever to an everyday player.
I know this fan base. This fan base loves to focus on, likes to look at the zit on the Mona Lisa. I'm telling you.
All right. You guys climb in on that as well.
Yeah, do
610-632-0975. Who has more pressure in year one? Chris Cooper or Sean Mannion? Coming up next, Sixers played last night. And it happened again. We'll tell you what next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, FanDuel Sportsbook. They got you covered during the Winter Olympics. You want to know why betting the Winter Games on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge makes sense? Well, from game lines to medal counts to finding your angle on the events you care most about, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. The Winter Games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with a bet on FanDuel. Maybe you want to make curling even much more exciting by putting a wager down on a curling match. Speed skating is decided by inches. Hockey games that feel different from the opening face-off, and so much more. By the way, Italy, the home country, currently the leading medal count right now. So maybe you think USA will make a comeback and be the number one medal count country. You can bet that right now as well. FanDuel, whatever you want to do, just play your game. You got to be 21 plus. President, Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
From the city that
listen to more Kincade and Salciunas before I change my mind.
It is 6:47 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll get to our text line here in a moment, but I just want to update you on the Philadelphia 76ers who played yesterday. Wondering if they showed up for the third quarter is a question that has been happening way too often this year. The Sixers lose to the Trailblazers last night, 135-118. No Joel Embiid in action yesterday, so Andre Drummond was allowed to play because whenever Embiid does play, he does not. It's the weirdest thing. Sixers lose big time. Jared McCain, he plays with the Thunder now. He was not there, so Kyle Lowry got 18 minutes. Was a +9 on the court yesterday. Kyle Lowry still got it. But the Sixers lose. They get outscored in the third quarter, 49-22.
49, eh?
49-22.
That's quite a performance.
I don't understand what goes on at halftime. We're going to have Amy. It's a Tuesday with Amy. So Amy will be with us. It's a $1 billion question at this point. I'm gonna raise the stakes to $1 billion. What happens at halftime going into the third quarter that the Sixers are so bad during? And sometimes it leads to losses like that. Sometimes they have leads and the other team comes back in it or even takes the lead, and it shoots themselves in the foot some nights. You can't be outscored constantly in the third quarter like that. This isn't a one-off. It's been happening all season long.
How do you give up 49 points in a quarter?
I don't know.
You don't. That's not trying. That's a lack of effort. You can't give up 49 points. By the way, the perimeter defense, horrendous.
I mean, yeah, it's
horrendous. Now, I watched, by the way, highlights of that effort, of that or that lack thereof. I watched highlights of it.
It's been the same storyline all year. And now, look, this is what happened. People completely underrate Embiid's defensive presence, right? He is a rim protector, even though it doesn't look all that quick. You have nights like that when Joel Embiid doesn't play. But I will also say this has been happening even in nights when Embiid does play. Now, that was egregious, 49 points. The Sixers, we've been updating you on this every once in a while. The Sixers are averaging 26.2 points per third quarter this year. That is 30th in the NBA. There are 32. There are 30 teams in the NBA. So they are the worst scoring team in the third quarter this year. They're also 27th in points allowed per third quarter at 30.6. So they are averaging the least amount of points per third quarter and giving up the fourth most points in the third quarter this year. That's a recipe for a disaster because it either lets teams get back into a game or put you away early. It's horrible. And Nick Nurse, that's a Nick Nurse thing. That is a coaching thing. You want to talk about effort? No, to me, it's coaching.
Really?
It's Patullo all over again.
Wait.
At halftime.
Okay.
The opposing team clearly comes up with some sort of adjustment, and every single third quarter, they're a disaster. I can't always point to effort when it happens every night.
I can point to a 49-point effort in a 49 points being given up by a team in a quarter and not blame the coach.
49.
I'm gonna say yes.
But
that's effort.
But these numbers is coaching. Those numbers being the worst scoring third quarter offense and the fourth worst third quarter defense, that's coaching. And especially when they're a plus 500 team. Like it's not like they're the Jazz. And man, we'll talk about them later. They're the top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. Like they are a quality basketball team. You can't have numbers like that.
No, it doesn't make a lot of sense to it though. But to me, there's a lot of lead foot out there. There's a lot of standing around. And the perimeter defense again is horrendous. And that's effort. It's effort. And to me, I'm going to blame the effort. I'm going to blame the lack of
every
effort.
single night.
If you can't defend, if you're not putting in the effort to defend, yes, I'm going to blame the effort before I'm going to blame the coach.
I'll go coach first. If it's third quarter, like it's again coming out of halftime.
I'm blaming the people on the court not getting the job done before I blame that it's something about the scheme. You're giving up. You're just standing around.
Then how do you explain them giving that effort the other 3 quarters?
Sometimes young players are lack of attention span, And you can roll up the newspaper and you can smack the dog on the nose and say don't poop in the house, but the young dog might do that.
Yeah.
There's a you give up 49 points in a quarter. I'm not blaming the coach for it.
But
You know
it's
what I mean?
bigger conversation because this is not the only time this has happened. It's
Right,
happened
it's been
consistently.
happening all
the night they
year.
give up 35 and 36. This is a team who sometimes I don't believe they have a great attention span. Doesn't seem they have a great they don't have a 4-quarter attention span. And that can be youthful energy, that can be something they grow into. They're a good team. I think right now Nick Nurse is getting about all the squeeze I expected him to get out of this lemon. I think they're right where they should be. Like this is a team. I don't consider this team in any way like underachieving. They're right where they should be. Shouldn't they? Should they be any better? Like, do you?
If their third quarters were like
Yeah, I think they should be better than what they put up
average,
Do you think
right?
this team
average is 15th in the league, right? Like that would be middle of the pack.
Yeah, that'd be middle would be 15.
They're 30th in scoring and 27th in points allowed in the third quarter. Like that's well below average.
No, I'm talking about where they are. No, but I'm talking about where they are. The third quarter, we agree.
No, I'm just saying, like
I'm talking about where this team is. This team's right where they should be. Maybe even a little better.
Yeah, but they could be better if their third quarters is better, is what I'm saying. Like they are again. They're 1.5 games back of the 5 seed. If their third quarters weren't, when you combine the two, probably the worst in the NBA, they may win 2 more games or 3 more games. And now instead of being the 6 seed, you're the 4 seed.
Yeah, I can't do this because it's sort of like it's like dealing with Flyer fans during a rebuild. It's like, well, we should be better. No, you shouldn't be. Their Flyers are better were better for a long part of the season than they should be overall. This is a bad part of this team. The third quarter thing is a bad part of this team. The Flyers power play is a bad part of that team. But in the thing where the Sixers are at 30 and 23, I think Nick Nurse would have taken that out of training camp.
Yeah, but again, if the Eagles, which
they're not the
they
Eagles.
were in the third quarter, one of the worst teams, we would talk about the lack of adjustments made at halftime.
But the Eagles are a team that's expected to win a championship. This is a team that was expected to do nothing. This is a team that was expected to win, 44 games?
Sure. Just because I'm happy that they're doing more than expected, like you could still point to there is something that happens almost every single night.
There's no question. It's like
I don't know. It's a billion-dollar question.
It's like the Flyers power play. When a young team is not that good, they have something that's really bad about them, and they do. But in the grand scheme of things,
it's really bad.
The Sixers are doing better than anyone expected them to be. They're better than they expected to be. They're going to hit their overs. They're going to do these things. Nick Nurse,
we'll see.
Maybe water into wine.
Amy joins us from 8 to 10 today. We'll get her thoughts on it as well. But coming up next, we'll reset some of our Eagles-related topics. We'll check our text line for the first time this morning. And also, pitchers and catchers report tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Vibes may have taken a hit this offseason, but the national media doesn't know that. What are people outside of Philly saying about the Phillies? You'll hear that next. And Dave Dombrowski spoke yet again. Hear from him next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Birds hired Chris Cooper. I'm Connor Thomas. And the Eagles hired their next offensive line coach yesterday to replace the departing Jeff Stoutland, bringing in Chris Cooper, who played 8 years at guard for the Broncos and was Minnesota's offensive line coach for the past 4 seasons, giving him familiarity with the Eagles' new OC, Sean Mannion. A big question for Cooper is who's going to be available to play on that offensive line. Zach Berman of The Athletic joined us yesterday morning, and he talked about that.
As far as Landon Dickerson, I don't have any strong feel on what's going to happen with Landon Dickerson. You tend to hear things at the end of every season, and then you kind of see where they are combine time. That's in 2 weeks.
Also talked about the future of Lane Johnson, the questions as to whether or not he'd return. We'll keep you updated as the Eagles continue to fill out their staff, but also start to turn an eye towards the roster. The Sixers lost to the Trailblazers late last night, 135-118, as their West Coast trip comes to a close. Blazers made 22 threes in the game, including 8 from Tumani Camara, a career-high 30 points for him. They're off tonight. They have their last game before the All-Star break tomorrow night. And pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow. It's almost baseball season, folks. Amy Fadul joins us starting in the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. Mark Schlereth will call in at 8:30. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports, Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic app. Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Thank you, Johnny Marks. This is Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Going to get into some Phillies talk here. Also, Phillies trivia that Connor Thomas put together.
Uh-oh.
You challenged me to game time.
Well, I mean, you said that all my questions suck.
I didn't say all your questions.
Pretty close to it.
You sort of insinuated it, and, you know.
So
You made some good points, though, Connor.
We'll put you to the test. You had a whole day to think about it instead of on the fly. So they better be really good. Is all I'm saying. I've had a full day to prepare, so I'm looking forward to.
Sounds like
to
some
Phillies.
disclaimers here.
I almost feel like they're all going to be pro Phillies because,
Well,
that's
a
the
lot
idea.
of that.
I know it is.
Yeah,
All
a
right,
lot
so
of
we'll
that.
get to that. The Phillies trivia, what Dave Dombrowski had to say about Nick Castellanos coming a little bit.
Oh, boy.
And what the national media has to say about the Phillies seemingly every single year. But what do we got on the text line, Connor? What we've talked about so far this morning, the Eagles may have put out the formula to win. And it's something that we have mocked Nick Sirianni about. Man, I think we're going to make Bill Colarulo proud today, Johnny. The Eagles and their very conservative approach, the prevent offense, which is what somebody wrote on Nick Sirianni's Wikipedia page this year, the creator of the prevent offense. The Eagles won a Super Bowl being very careful. Now, look, in the Super Bowl, they had to throw the football because the Chiefs were stacking the box to stop Saquon Barkley. But what they did to get to the point of the playoffs last year was by relying on your offensive line, relying on your running back, and relying on your defense.
They did.
People will take offense to that for whatever reason because we think Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. He was very good in the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl. He was great. He was excellent. He was the MVP. But up until that point, it was game manager Jalen, run the ball, be careful with the football, don't turn the ball over. Look at how things changed after the 2-2 start when he was turning the football over. And the reason why we say that is look at what Seattle just did. Seattle won Super Bowl 60 on the back of their defense, on the back of Kenneth Walker. And even though Sam Darnold had the tremendous game in the championship game against the Rams, Sam Darnold just didn't have to screw up this past Sunday against the Patriots in order to win. So is there a formula right now, this current era of football that could end tomorrow, this era of football, is that the way to win? Don't turn the ball over. Be very careful. Don't make mistakes.
I just can't wonder if we're being it's one of those, do I wonder if we're being the prisoners of the moment? You know what I mean? That idea that we're just taking the immediacy of what we're seeing the last couple years. Remember,
how many teams did we talk about not taking the points? This playoffs.
Oh no, it happened over and over again. And
These
the Rams,
playoffs.
I mean, look, Sean McVay's got to be kicking himself. When you look at what they did and say, if I had only taken a field goal earlier in the game, Matthew Stafford at the end of the game doesn't have to be throwing bombs. All he has to do is get them in field goal range, and the Rams may have gone to the Super Bowl.
Rams had that happen.
The
Bears had that happen.
Bears had it happen. Jacksonville Jaguars had it happen.
Jacksonville.
How about the Eagles? If you had a kicker make an extra point, but that's it. That's all.
Nice.
Hopefully, you draft a kicker this year that can come in here and make kicks that everybody else is.
But we're talking about multiple teams. That if you just kick a field goal.
Here's the one thing. John Maley, our buddy John Maley, big listener to the show, he asks me earlier, he says, well, didn't Sam Darnold throw the most interceptions in football? He said, so it's not like they ran an ultra-conservative offense because he was a turnover machine. That's something that Colin Cowherd left out of his script.
Right, he did leave that out.
His script writer did a very poor job. He left that out of the script yesterday. Didn't bring that up.
Yeah, Sam Darnold threw 14 total interceptions.
I mean,
this season, but in the playoffs, the game against the Niners. Now look, they destroyed them. In the Niners, he threw for 124 yards.
Right, and if Jalen did that, people would be saying inadequate.
Against the
but
Patriots,
it's all you needed to do.
He threw for 202.
And that's all you needed to do. And guess what? I don't criticize Sam Darnold for that.
He won a Super Bowl. Congratulations.
And Sam Darnold, by the way, in that 202 yards the other night, I guarantee you can think of some throws that you were like, boy, there were some nice throws. There were some really nice throws. Especially, all I can think of is it Barner, the tight end?
Yeah, the tight end.
Him and Barner have a real nice
connection.
They have a real nice connection because he threw some little lasers to Barner that were like little 8-yard throws, stuff like that moved the chains.
Well, yeah,
that's
the thing.
Nice
if you go back, because I wanted to jog my memory, I went to like the play log this morning.
Sure.
The first drive, he took multiple shots downfield. Then after that, it was like,
That's it.
quick throw here, short intermediate throw here. It was very careful.
I think that what they saw was Kubiak went out and said, I'm going to see what Denver's doing defensively. And then, okay, that's not going to be available to us. So then I'm just going to pick them apart underneath and just take the little stuff. And they didn't really pick them apart, but they took the underneath stuff and did it really well. I mean,
Cooper Kupp had 6 catches for 61 yards, and he didn't really have that great of a season.
No, but it was great to see like that offense. Kubiak's offense on Sunday was perfect.
Yeah, for that game.
It was perfect. For what they needed, it was perfect.
It's back-to-back years where a careful offense has won the Super Bowl. So is that the current formula?
Yes.
610-632-0975. What do we got on the text line?
All right, so we have a check-in here from Brian from Greencastle, who says the conservative outfits and strong defense only works if you can at least sustain drives. In other words, not 3 and out over and over and over again.
Right, but basically the point I'm trying to get at is, look, Ken Patullo sucked, right? He was horrible, and the offensive line was banged up. But is the Nick Sirianni methodology like all that off? Don't lose the turnover battle. Now, I hate it when it's like, this is gospel. We have to do this because it does become predictable, right? If you're not coming up with interesting concepts and you're not coming up with play designs that's making the defense guess and you're running hitch route after hitch route after hitch route, that's going to hurt you in the long run. But hey, we don't need to do these gadget plays because that might lead to an unnecessary turnover. Is that necessarily not the worst idea? I don't know.
I wonder about it, but to me, as long as you've got the defense, if I've got the defense, then I'm going for it. Then I'm going for this kind of stuff. I'm definitely not playing an ultra aggressive style of offense.
Because you're not worried about them giving up points.
Right. I'm trying to say if I have a defense like the Eagles have, I want to have an offense that moves the chains.
Right, like the Rams needed to go downfield.
I want to have an efficient offense that moves the chains. I think Green Bay this year, the offense that Mannion was in, I think Green Bay liked their defense.
Yeah, if Micah Parsons doesn't get hurt.
Right, and I think Green Bay said, let's soak the clock. Let's have an offense that moves the chains and moves things along. And then we'll see if that's enough to win. And if Micah Parsons doesn't get hurt, who knows what happens? And they got a lot of other injuries too. So.
Yeah. What else we got on the text line, Connor?
All right. We also have a check-in from Terrence from Pittman, who says something interesting here. I don't think teams plan to win that way. I just think the league is watered down since the overall NFL has bad quarterback play. Not many elite QBs and some being on mediocre teams, which opens up mediocre QBs on more talented teams.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you guys have been doing the show with me for 2 years now.
Yeah, you've been on this.
The quarterback play in the NFL is actually atrocious. Not everyone, but there is some bad quarterback play. And again, we play the Colin Cowherd audio where he's saying there wouldn't be a GM that would take Jalen Hurts over Sam Darnold. Like I think that's crazy, but we're talking about whether or not Sam Darnold is a top 10 quarterback, right? Before this year, not a single person would say that Sam Darnold was a top 10 quarterback. But the fact that he won this year, now that's going to lead to that conversation. But we're talking about a guy that's played for 5 different teams in 9 seasons. We're talking about being one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. That kind of says something about your league right now. And a lot of it, again, is oh, my God, we're afraid to mess this up, so we're going to pay this quarterback, even though they have not accomplished anything, $250 million, which is then going to hurt the rest of our team. You have to win early, or you have to have a great GM, which is what Howie Roseman is. All right? Give us one more text, and then we'll open up our Phillies discussion.
All right. We also get a check-in on the Nick Sirianni part of the conversation where Jim in Nazareth says, so are we finally going to stop with the hating of Sirianni since we just watched 2 other teams copy his formula and make it to a Super Bowl?
I don't think anyone – if you think those teams were saying, hey, let's try to be like Nick Sirianni, I'm going to suggest help from a therapist. Nobody in the NFL is saying, let's copy Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, look, again, if the Rams kick a field goal and then kick another field goal, the Rams beat the Seahawks, and you're watching a totally different game on Sunday. You're watching the Seahawks throw downfield, and then, oh, by the way, you're watching the Patriots try to combat that by throwing downfield. It's all about the matchup. But look, the reason why Nick Sirianni catches heat in this town is when things need to be fixed, he can't come up with answers. And we have two experiences with that. 2023, 2025. When something needed to be fixed, it got worse both times. If he did actually make the call about Matt Patricia, which I still don't believe, but if he did actually make the call about Patricia, it made the defense worse. If he did actually pull Jeff Stoutland out of the conversations about the concept offensively, it got worse. Everything that Nick Sirianni did have his fingerprints on when trying to fix an issue actually got worse. He broke it more. That's why he catches heat.
I'd say that's fair. I think it's fair. Is that there's nobody copying. If you think anybody's copying Nick Sirianni around the league, they're copying Sean McVay. They're copying Kyle Shanahan. The Eagles now have even said, let's go get somebody off the Shanahan McVay type of tree. They're not copying Nick. No one's saying, hey, let's go copy whatever's going on with Nick Sirianni. What's that Sirianni got cooking over there?
Is that Bill on the text line?
It might be.
Did you just change the name?
That was not Bill.
Why don't you check that number back?
All right. Phillies report to Clearwater tomorrow. Pitchers and catchers, I should say. Report to Clearwater tomorrow, which is always a joyous occasion. But the last couple of years have been more exciting reporting days. I haven't really gotten the sense that as many people are as excited this year because you're running it back, even though Rob Thompson spoke yesterday and doubled down that they're not running it back because, 23% of the roster is different.
Yeah, Rob's talking about like if Howie Roseman changed a bunch of the special teamers and said, oh, no, we're not running it back. And, yeah, we got these brand new special teamers. You don't even know who they are.
Yeah. And get excited about 3 bullpen arms, and I'm not talking about Keller. I'm talking about guys that people literally don't know, right? Like you can't give me that, Rob. But I get it. He's speaking on behalf of the team, and so is Dave Dombrowski, because he's just putting together a masterclass. If you ever want, let's say you're trying to get a new job and you need a reference, right? Don't ask Dave Dombrowski. Because if you ever did anything slightly wrong under Dave Dombrowski's watch, he will make sure to let the world know.
Oh, no, he's going to throw you under the bus.
Here was Dave Dombrowski yesterday, once again being asked about the status of Nick Castellanos.
Wondering where things stand in terms of finding kind of that change of scenery for Nick Castellanos that you've talked about throughout the winter.
Well, we continue to talk to clubs about that, and that's our focus prior to the start of spring training. So that's something that we'll continue to work on this week.
Is that something that you hope to have resolved this week?
Hopefully, yes.
Hey, Dave, just to clarify, if Nick is not traded or released by the time position players are scheduled to report, will he be in camp?
Well, at this point, we're doing everything we can to make a move by that time period.
So here's what's going to happen. Maybe at the final hour, there is a team that actually wants Nick Castellanos. So what they will do is say, we will take on $1 million of the salary. If that does not happen, just like the sport of football, team is planning to release player X unless traded for. The trade is always a 7th-round pick if a team actually has interest in said player, or they let them hit waivers and free agency. That's what's going to happen here with Nick Castellanos. And this has been a 2-year setup.
Why?
Because Dombrowski's been
been trashing the guy publicly over and over and over again. So he says, look, I got this car. If you ever went to sell Carlos the Civic on the used car market at 150,000 miles, you make Carlos the Civic sound romantic.
Yeah.
You make Carlos the Civic sound just unbelievably charming.
I have a soon-to-be 4-year-old son. That car has kept him safe.
You make it sound like, you know what? If you just need to tool around town and everything, this would be a great car for you. You'd be a great car salesman with it. Whereas Dave Dombrowski would be saying to you, this thing's held together by the rust. I know why Andrew doesn't get it washed, because I think the dirt is what's holding it together.
Hell yeah, baby.
He degrades his own assets. He tells you, well, yeah, we're trying to trade Alec Boehm. Couldn't find any takers. Literally, like, he puts guys. He again. Pop-up is on Facebook Marketplace. He's your parents on Facebook Marketplace trying to sell the couch for like $300. The couch that's been sitting in their house for 10. Yeah, well, we paid $600 for it. We're trying to sell it for $300 on Facebook Marketplace. He doesn't get it. He does not get modern baseball, and I'm really disappointed. because he doesn't get it.
It's been weird
obvious
because you've set up for this to happen, right? I, at the point of whether or not you want Nick Castellanos back or not, that's done. We all know he's not going to be back, but man, could it have been handled in a much different way where you at least got some of the salary eaten? Instead, it looks like it's going to lead to an outright release because of the way he's talking about him. Or again, a team comes in final minute, says, "Hey, we'll eat $1 million of the 20." And we'll call it a deal.
Don't expect that to happen.
No, he's going to get released. That's what's going to
and that's criminal.
Yeah,
that's criminal. That is criminal negligence.
But everybody that covers the Phillies nationally will tell you, they're a good club.
Oh, good club. Oh, wait. Oh, you're okay. I'm going to tell you.
What do you got?
Your head's going to explode. Your head's going to explode.
All right.
I've got for you. Now, what I've assembled is just a series of quotes from either a podcast, which is or a column, and most of them are columns that have been written, and I'm going to give you an assemblage of writers just to let you know. The names being John Heyman, Passan, Sherman, Morosi, Olney. Okay, so we're talking about big names.
The who's who of MLB reporters, basically.
Yes, the only one left off of here is Jason Stark, because you know what I haven't found from Jason Stark? And I looked, because I love Jason. But I wanted to see, was Jason going to be stupid? I couldn't find Jason being stupid about the Phillies. Couldn't find it. Here's some of the ones I found for you. This is from 2024. The Phillies lineup, right before the playoffs, the Phillies lineup scares opposing pitching in so many spots. Okay, doesn't sound bad going into the playoffs of 2024, but we saw that was sort of proven wrong. Going into 2025 playoffs, the Phillies have everything it takes to win a title and have just had some bad luck. This is after 2022's collapse, after being up 2-1 in the World Series, getting no hit, and then totally the bats going limp. Dr. Avidan Appel couldn't help them. And then the collapses of 23 and the collapse of 24. And it's like, the Phillies have just had some bad luck in October. Bull crap. Like, stop it. Then, here's one for you from 2025, too. You're going to love this.
By the way, the 23 bad luck was the Diamondbacks realized we don't have to throw them strikes.
In Game 6 and Game 7, we're not even going to throw a strike.
They're going to swing. That's bad luck.
We're not going to throw a strike to Bryce Harper or to Kyle Schwarber. In 2 games, we're going to throw them 2 pitches that were strikes that they swung at.
Bad luck.
Yeah, the bad luck one's silly.
That's bad luck. How about this? We know this Phillies team has what it takes to get to October and win. That was last year before the playoff series last October with the Dodgers. We know this Phillies team has what it takes to get to October and win. Do we? Do we?
Well, we know
after
that they
22
have what it takes to get to October.
Yes, we do. We know what it takes. That would have been end of sentence. We don't know that it takes to win. Here's another one for you. This is a great one. This was before the trade deadline last summer. The Phillies know what needs to be done to win in October, and Dave Dombrowski always addresses it at the trade deadline. What? He knows what to always and he always addresses it at the trade deadline. Now, look, Johan Duran, I like Johan Duran.
Yeah, last year was a good deadline.
But does he always address it at the trade deadline?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, he does. He just doesn't always get it right.
Yeah, like Austin
No, but he
Hayes.
doesn't always address it means he knows what needs to be win in October. It's the whole quote is the Phillies know what needs to be done to win in October, and Dave Dombrowski always addresses it at the trade deadline. No, he doesn't.
He's making those moves. They haven't hit.
No, he doesn't. But he doesn't know what needs to be done.
I would say Rodolfo Castro wasn't
He
necessarily.
doesn't know what needs to be
home
done.
run.
Pick the one off there.
How
run
about
a few
this one
years
too?
ago.
Winner of 2026. You can't expect the same mistakes and bad luck to keep hitting the
luck.
Phillies.
Why is
to
bad
keep
luck?
hitting the Phillies in October.
What is bad luck?
You know what that is? That's Dave Dombrowski talking to one of his buddies. And I'm not going to give you the writer because I don't want to throw him under the bus. That's Dave Dombrowski talking to one of his buddies, and the buddy recanting, Polly, what a cracker.
What?
Dave Dombrowski told me that they had bad luck.
Like bad.
Give me a cracker.
Bad luck.
You can't expect the same mistakes and bad luck to keep hitting the Phillies in October. What are now these? Now look, these are the best of the best writers in baseball. that are giving us, every Phillies fan knows, bull.
Bad luck is 2011. Raul Ibanez hitting a ball that 364 days out of the year is a home run, and the Phillies take the lead against the Cardinals.
Bad luck would be...
But that day, the wind...
A critical error that is... You know what's bad luck? Is a player like Ryan Kerkering losing that game on a brain fart that nobody makes.
Umpire not giving Christopher Sanchez.
Right.
But is that the reason why they lost the series?
That's not why they lost the series. But again, that is the best writers of the game telling you things about the Phillies, and Phillies fans know that's false.
Well, good news is Connor agrees with those national reports.
Yes,
oh my
I do.
Gosh.
And Connor is putting together an agenda-driven trivia day for us, Johnny.
It's to help everybody, including you two, especially you two.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we'll see if it actually helps. We'll get those trivia questions starting in the next segment. These will continue throughout the course of the show. Also, an issue that we all know too well about that is getting worse and worse and worse in a league that, quite frankly, continues to push people away. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A new line coach in Philly. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles hired their next offensive line coach yesterday, bringing in Chris Cooper, who played 8 years at guard for the Broncos and was previously the Vikings offensive line coach for the past 4 seasons. So that gives him some familiarity with the Eagles offense coordinator Sean Mannion. But a big question for Cooper is who's going to be playing on that line? There are questions about Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson. Zach Berman of The Athletic joined us yesterday on Kincade and Salciunas and talked about Lane.
The thing with Lane, he's a prideful person. I think the big thing with him is he feels like he can physically be the best right tackle in football. I think we're going to see him out there, but I think a lot of that depends on how he's feeling health-wise.
We'll keep you updated as the Eagles continue to fill out their staff and then turn their eyes to the roster. See who's going to be returning. The Sixers, they're returning to the East Coast after wrapping up their West Coast swing last night. They lost to the Blazers 135-118 out in Portland. The Blazers made 22 threes in the game, including 8 from Tumani Camara, a career-high 30 points for him. They're off tonight. They have their last game before the All-Star break tomorrow night. Pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow. Everybody's just so excited about it. Amy Fadul, we're excited about her joining us coming up at the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. Mark Schlereth will join us at 8:30. This update is brought to you by Uber Eats. You hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at La Scala's from now till 3:31. Get a buy one, get one free deal on Rigatoni Vodka on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Fanatic.
7 a.m. hours brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, the NBA has some major problems on their hand. We'll get to that coming up in a few minutes, but let's get a text message in on our Eagles discussion. And then Connor's going to open up trivia questions to try to make us feel better. So it is a totally agenda-driven trivia question.
That's fine.
Trivia day.
That's
so
fine.
We'll see how it goes.
He can make his attempt.
What do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, so we have a couple people checking in on the Colin Cowherd take about taking Sam Darnold over Jalen Hurts. This texter says, is this the same Colin Cowherd that said the Eagles may not make it past midfield in that 40-6 Super Bowl win?
I will tell you this, is that Colin is one of the most talented guys who's ever been in our business.
Oh, yeah.
He has an incredible he's built an incredible empire for himself. His podcasting company, the volume was ridiculous, crazy. But he those things are scripted. Those little diatribes and everything, they're scripted. I think maybe he had a bad script because that was a poorly written script. You could give me 3 minutes and I could discount point because Colin doesn't cover the Eagles.
Right.
Colin doesn't cover he can speak in generalities, and his scriptwriter there can speak in generalities. But Colin makes a lot of good points in general, but they can be discounted when you go bang, bang, bang.
Amy Fadul is going to be in studio with us for the final 2 hours. We'll replay what Colin Cowherd said yesterday when Amy's with us. He basically talked about how no GM in the NFL would take Jalen Hurts over Sam Darnold. And my first response would be, well, what is it that Sam Darnold has over Jalen Hurts other than measurables? Because that's one of the things that he brings up. And I get why quarterbacks and measurables matter. But the success that Jalen Hurts has had in his career, there is nothing that Sam Darnold has over Jalen Hurts. They both have a Super Bowl ring. One won MVP in the game. One was there.
And one was.
I'm not trying to discredit what Sam Darnold did. It's just what Colin Cowherd is making me do now.
And is Jalen Hurts' resume blows away Sam Darnold's at every turn. In college, every turn. In the pros, every turn.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you keep getting job after job after job after job after job. Being able to stay in a job, being able to stay places in business, in your career, in other words, means there's a reason. You're a stable person. You're somebody who is easily employable. You're somebody who has work. Now, I don't disagree with him, though, on I don't believe Jalen is the most popular guy necessarily even in his own locker room with some of his teammates. I believe that. I don't think he's incorrect with that, so I don't believe he received wrong information there. But I can tell you this, Tom Brady wasn't either.
Yeah.
I can assure you that. Tom Brady wasn't either.
I know Kirk Cousins is loved.
Uh-huh. How's it work for you?
How's it worked?
Michael Jordan was certainly not.
He was not loved, but damn, was he respected.
Yeah, Tom Brady was not.
All right, Connor, what do we got as the agenda-driven trivia questions that you have today?
Yeah, so just to set this up, the idea, there's been a lot of negativity about the Phillies. I totally understand it.
Deservedly so.
I do think it's flown too far towards the negative end of the spectrum.
Okay.
And because of that, there are some questions that I have for you two gentlemen that I think will make us think about where the Phillies are realistically at as far as quality of baseball team.
Can I ask you one question, though, for the premise?
Absolutely.
Why do you think the negativity has gone too far to the negative?
Because people are tired of this team, so they've gone from rational expectations to we're just mad at everything.
Well, what are rational expectations for this team? Because it's about October, so.
Yeah. 90-plus wins.
No. It's about October.
Right. I'm getting there.
90-plus wins, we know.
Division championship in play, which is something that didn't exist for the Phillies for like a decade. Oh, actually longer than that. And they'll be a top, 5 seed in the National League. And then we'll see.
But again, it's the October is why people are negative. You get that, right?
And the last decade team has nothing to do with my expectations.
And once again, when you spend what the Phillies spend, the teams that spend that average 93 wins minimum. The Phillies have beaten that 93 win mark when we pound our chest about regular season wins. They've beaten that once.
All right, let's go. What we got?
So let's go.
All right. So we'll start with this first question because you brought up some of the national reporters saying that the Phillies know how to win in October. So I'll ask you this. Since the start of the Rob Thompson tenure back in 2022, how many teams in Major League Baseball have more postseason wins than the Philadelphia Phillies?
The Dodgers.
Dodgers, Yankees.
No, I wouldn't even go Yankees. Since Rob Thompson took over?
Since 2022.
So Dodgers. That might be it.
It is just the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they only have the Phillies by 4. They have 25 wins, the Dodgers do. The Phillies have 21 postseason wins since 2022.
Again, I need someone then to say me the next question, which would be the follow-up questions. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means they win in October. They haven't won it all.
No. It means they get to October.
It means they get to October.
The Rangers and Diamondbacks got to October, got to a World Series. One team won, one team lost, and then the next year they were both not in it. Which I get it. You got to get to October. That's the start.
Wait, and when you spend what the Phillies spend,
they should be in October.
You get to October. That's like, I mean, you're supposed to get to October.
All right, so I'm up 1-0.
I get you.
But
yes, you are
down 1-0 in terms of me feeling any better.
I'm going to be over because you guys won't feel better about any of these.
No.
This is why we're doing it.
No, I'm trying to be about October though, the negativity.
Because if I told you any other team in this town has the second most wins in their league in the postseason in a 4-year stretch, you'd say, hey.
No, what I'm saying is we have a team.
Eagles probably do, but they won the Super Bowl.
No, Connor, we have a team that actually wins in the regular season in this town and then wins in the postseason when it matters. We have another one that wins in the regular season and then gets to the postseason and poo-poos in their pants.
Give us another one. What else we got?
How many 4-year stretches? Now, these are concurrent 4-year stretches, so it's not like you can do, for example, I'll give you a hint on this one. 08 to 11, 09 to 12. Like, it's all in one. How many consecutive 4-year stretches in the Philadelphia Phillies history have yielded more wins than this?
Yeah, I don't care about the 08 to 11 or any other team, especially because that one won. I'm going to guess none.
2.
I would say. Let me guess.
I'm sorry,
it's 76 to 79.
75, 78.
Okay, 75 to 78, and obviously 7 to 11.
08 to 11.
08 to 11. 08 to 11. Yeah, I'm
years.
off on my shifting years.
So there are only 2 4-year stretches in Philadelphia Phillies history where you've seen this baseball team win more games.
Well, here's the problem.
But
here's the problem with the Phillies history. And I'm not even talking about this team. Those are the only years they went to the playoffs, too. It's really bad from a historical standpoint.
Exactly. And for a single name, single franchise team, single name, single city team that has been in existence for this long, we've got one of the top 3 stretches in the history of it.
All right.
Okay, is it like
so far nothing's helped me.
Okay, so
nothing's going to help you.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is that are you if you let's say you had you had really crappy food, like really inadequate food for like your wife or husband, whoever cooks you crappy meals for 30 years of marriage, and then they learn to cook a few basic meals. That I could basically cook, not like Andrew could cook. And then my spouse is supposed to say, wow, this is the best meals you've ever had.
Yeah, they're cooking the second best meals in the world.
But I'm like, I'm supposed to be appreciative of that? No, it's like, that's adequate. It's like, now I can't celebrate that now all of a sudden it's just better than crap. Like, I can't.
We're gonna keep trying. So far, I've not felt any better. But we are going to keep trying, and so far the score is 1-1. We'll continue this throughout the course of the show because Connor put a lot of effort into these. So I'm looking forward to getting to them. By the way, don't forget Amy Fadul in studio with us from 8 to 10. We'll talk more about this, too, with Amy. The NBA's got a major problem. And I know we've been talking about this for a while now and tanking and all that kind of stuff. Did you see what happened with the Utah Jazz yesterday?
No, what's going on with them?
Well, the Utah Jazz stink, as we know.
Right.
And the Utah Jazz are actively tanking. For the second straight game, the Utah Jazz had a lead going into the fourth quarter. And for the second straight game, Lauri Markkanen,
who a lot of Sixers fans wanted.
Yep, Jaren Jackson Jr., who they just traded for, and Yusuf Nurkic logged not 0 minutes, but 0 seconds in the fourth quarter. So they were leading going into the fourth quarter, and they rested their did not play their three best players for the entire fourth quarter. And they weren't up by 40. They were just leading. Now, yesterday, Utah won because this guy, Bryce Sensabaugh, went off in the fourth quarter for Utah, which gave them the win over Miami. And I'm going to guess that Utah is upset by that. Will Hardy is the head coach of the Utah Jazz. He was asked if there was ever a chance he was going to put Jaren Jackson Jr. or Lauri Markkanen back in the game in the fourth quarter, and his response was, I wasn't. He was never going to put them in. So there is a team that is that if we're talking about tanking, right? There's tanking what the Sixers did, which was also egregious, where they just got guys that would not play on any other NBA team. But this is actively, we are in the lead, and I'm not going to play my starters for the entire fourth quarter. This is back-to-back games. By the way, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who everybody loves, are being investigated because they had 4 players, they sat 10 players due to injury during their nationally televised game against San Antonio. Remember, there's rules about the nationally televised games now.
Right.
It's gotten worse. And the league celebrates it. Adam Silver promotes it, says go for it. And at the same time, we have not talked about this yet, and I could talk about it for 4 hours. Giannis becoming a partner with that Kalshi market or Kalshi market is despicable.
It is, and you know what he did before we knew he was a member of it?
He returned to Milwaukee, and I know that was a bet that could be made.
And you know the bets that could be made as to whether he would be traded or not?
Yeah.
So all the rumors were out there about whether he was going to get traded or not.
And then all of a sudden he wasn't.
And then all of a sudden he wasn't.
So,
and then after that, you find out he's a member of this company.
In case people don't know, Kalshi's not like a lines and all. It's just yes or no. And you can gamble. They don't call it gambling, which is how they get around it. They say it's like the stock exchange.
It is.
And
which is gambling. The stock exchange is gambling too. Yeah.
So like a question may be, will Giannis be on the Milwaukee Bucks after the trade deadline? Yes or no?
Which was the question. And then he's a member of the company. And then all that was built up. And then you find out after the trade deadline that he's part of the company.
And he puts out the I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, there's nothing crooked about that at all.
There's a lot of stuff in this NBA that I love that needs to be investigated big time.
That's because the league lost control long ago. David Stern walking away, man.
Man. Ugly times in the NBA right now.
Megamind does not have control of his league.
All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. And I wonder if he has a story about a farmer in Pennsylvania.
I don't.
It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
No hot takes, no rage bait.
the Fanatic. All right, Connor, give us another trivia question before we start today's headlines with Connor Thomas. Connor has an agenda-driven trivia game today to try to make us feel better about the Phillies. The score is 1-1 in terms of me and John getting the answers. The score is us not feeling better, 2 to Connor making us feel better, 0.
All right, so age has been a big part of the conversation with the 2026 Philadelphia Phillies. So I want to ask you guys this, and it's 2 points up for grabs. Where did the 2 World Series teams, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, rank in average roster age last year in Major League Baseball?
Dodgers number 1, right?
Point for Andrew.
I'd say probably like 5th.
Not
5th. 6th.
They're 4th.
Okay.
They were both top 4 average age in baseball teams last year. So there's nothing wrong with an old team that's capable. The problem is,
it's capable. Dave Dombrowski told us.
Yeah, you know what?
There's a Warriors team.
There's a difference between being a team like the Dodgers, who have a pedigree of winning world championships that know they can win in October, to keep bringing players that are winners back, compared to doubling down on an old team that doesn't win.
So explain the Blue Jays, who have never won anything and yet had the 4th oldest roster in baseball and found their way to a Game 7.
The Blue Jays just found their first chance at it. We'll see. Blue Jays, that's their first legit chance at it.
They lost Bo, man.
It's part of it.
They might.
We'll see what happens.
They might be done. All right. Before we do headlines, I'll save this story for when Amy gets here because it's a really interesting life question where it's life-changing money. But I'll do that later. It's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
It's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. We are going to start off down in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we had last night. Did you guys see what went on?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Malice at the Spectrum, I guess. Why is it always the Detroit Pistons? A brawl breaking out between the Hornets and the Pistons last night.
Durant driving on Diabate. Durant bodies him up, and Musa got caught with his hand in there. Oh, Durant threw a punch, and now Diabate did too. Oh, no.
That call from Sports Radio WFNZ down in Charlotte. And when you got to the end of it, Diabate, Miles Bridges, Jalen Duren, and Isaiah Stewart all ejected. Stewart coming off the bench.
Yeah, so he's going to get suspended for a lot of games.
Yeah, dude.
Isaiah Stewart, if you guys don't remember, he was the one that was trying to chase LeBron all over the court. Do you remember that a couple of years ago? He was like Bo Jackson, like knocking guys over, trying to get to LeBron. They were able to get him finally out one tunnel, and then he ran over to try to come out the other tunnel, and he served a suspension for that. He was not even involved in this altercation.
He just loves the fight, man.
He was on the bench. He's got ice packs on both knees, John. He's got ice packs on both knees, gets up, runs over. Now, look, Miles Bridges, bad dude, so, hey, tip of the cap to you, Isaiah, but obviously can't happen. What's even worse is, do you know what he said as he was, the camera caught as he was walking off?
I did not see that part.
So he's walking off, and there's a reporter that's in the tunnel.
Okay.
And he literally is just screaming out loud, you don't expect me just to sit there, right? So, like, it's literally for the love of the fight. And I would imagine that's going to come into play as well. He'll probably serve, 15?
It'll be double digits.
15 games?
Oh, no, yeah.
When you're not involved.
And you get in, when you insert yourself into that, that's going to be a problem.
It's not going to be good.
So, yeah, at least it stayed away from the stands this time around. Yeah. So, great work by the Pistons there. All right, let's round out with, well, not round out, but let's go to another basketball story. Did you see the latest update on Charles Bediako?
I have not.
We mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, he was the kid that went to Bama.
Yep.
And G League dropout was the chant they were doing in the game.
But I haven't seen the latest.
Well, they can't be chanting at him anymore because the Tuscaloosa judge has denied his motion for a preliminary injunction that allows him to remain with a college basketball team. So he is no longer eligible as of this moment. And that's the right decision. It's got to be.
Yeah, he should not have ever been able to return to college to play basketball after being in the G League. What's interesting, I don't know how many games he played. Let me find this out. He played 2 games. And
okay, but college athletes are professional athletes now. See, if I'm just going to play
Sure.
I'll play Bill Colarulo here as a lawyer. College athletes are professional athletes now, so what grounds would that be on? They're paid to play basketball.
Yeah, but I think the level, like logically, if LeBron retires, can he go play for Alabama next year?
No, because LeBron has eligibility, so he technically could. By the way, he could.
I think this is just murky.
By the rules.
This is murky waters.
Connor, by the rules,
not be swimming.
he could.
Right, but logically, when it comes down to a judge's decision, I don't think LeBron James is playing at Alabama.
Now, what somebody made an interesting point. Somebody that covers college basketball. In the 2 games that he played, they won by 3 and by 4. He played 19 minutes in one, 22 minutes in the other. They won both games. And I forget who wrote it, so I'm sorry. And they basically said, should those 2 wins be taken away? Because a judge is now ruling this should never have happened.
No, you can't go back and retrofit a rule. You can't make a rule.
No, I get you. I agree
and then
with you.
retrofit
The game
it.
happened.
Yeah, that would be like saying if you change the speed limit on a road and somebody got a ticket for doing 73 and you changed the speed limit.
I just wonder if Texas A&M or Auburn, the 2 teams that they beat, go, oh, hold on a second. That's kind of...
Yeah, if they miss the tournament by like a game or
That's
miss
baloney.
something like that. Yeah,
it's interesting.
I'd be upset. We'll round out with a quick question. Golf doesn't count.
Here we go! First hole-in-one in TGL history!
Neil Shipley knocking it in on the TGL simulator. Semi-counts, maybe?
Wait, did it go into an actual hole?
It's into a screen,
No,
but
it
it
doesn't
is
count.
professional golfers on the most sophisticated thing in the world. It actually shows ball flight and everything like that. So does that count?
I don't count it.
Johnny?
I don't count it.
Because I know isn't there actual holes? I don't watch it, but I've seen clips. Isn't there like an actual like...
You hit into a screen, and it shows you on the green where your ball's supposed to be set. So you putt on an actual
Right.
green, but
Okay.
you hit.
putt on the green. Okay.
Yes.
You putt on the green.
Yeah, no, this doesn't count.
No, you can't count it.
Man,
No,
you're
it
taking it
doesn't
away
count.
from Neil Shipley?
But I can tell you, though, it is like we were talking about it. We were talking about it, Connor, is that it's when it's like what's been like 8 degrees, 9 degrees when we've been coming to work. There's something about it that gets me.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes you happy.
That's why I brought it up. I needed people to think about the sunshine a little bit, even though they play
No,
indoors.
it doesn't count.
That does that. Yeah, but it doesn't count though.
doesn't
No,
count.
Does
you hit
not
into a
count.
screen. Doesn't count. Sorry.
No, sorry, not getting into a screen.
I
Just
bet you I could do it.
Just as hitting on a.
Yeah, if that screen's 40 yards left.
Just as someone I know, and you remember before, hitting one on hit a first shot in a par 3 out of bounds, re-teed it up, hit a ball, and got a hole-in-1.
I count it.
That's a 3.
Count it.
That is a 3.
Count it.
No.
Bang.
3.
All right, coming up next, Amy Fadul joins us in studio for the remainder of the show. What the hell goes on in the locker room at halftime for the Sixers? Maybe she can answer those questions for us. And we'll get back to this Eagles question. She's shaking her head. Is there a formula to win in the NFL right now? And is that being careful? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Valentine's Day is coming up this weekend, and I don't want you to put it off any longer. If you've been thinking about a great gift, my friends at Benari Jewelers in Exeter and Newtown Square are saying they got plenty of staff, they got plenty of inventory, and they're ready to help you get a great gift. How about diamond and gemstone earrings? She's going to love them. How about a pendant necklace? She'll love those too. An elegant bracelet, something that's designed to be treasured for a lifetime. They've got them all over the place at Benari Jewelers. They're fantastic. Again, Exton, Newtown Square. They also have exceptional timepieces for him. I got one for my birthday this year, crafted with precision. He'll wear it with pride, and he'll be thinking of you when you can get it engraved for him and everything like that. It's beautiful. It's the most romantic day of the year, and it might be the day you propose, too, and the diamond experts at Benari are going to help you get that perfect diamond for you so you can get the yes from her. Every selection backed by Benari's promise, uncompromising craftsmanship, remarkable quality. The customer service at Benari is second to none. Valentine's Day, don't let it be a cliche. Let it be something that's different. Let it be something that's unique. Let it be a special day that you and Benari partner up with. Benari Jewelers, Exeter and Newtown Square. Check out BenariJewelers.com on the web.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Replacing Stoutland, I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles hired their next offensive line coach yesterday, bringing in Chris Cooper to replace Jeff Stoutland. Cooper, who played 8 years at guard for the Broncos, was also Minnesota's offensive line coach for the past 4 years, giving him some familiarity and some crossover with Eagles' new offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion. Makes sense why the hire was made. But a big question for Cooper is who's going to be available to play on that offensive line. Zach Berman of The Athletic joined us yesterday, talked about Landon Dickerson's uncertain future.
As far as Landon Dickerson, I don't have any strong feel on what's going to happen with Landon Dickerson. You tend to hear things at the end of every season, and then you kind of see where they are combine time. That's in 2 weeks.
So we got a little bit of a wait to figure that out, but we'll be watching it closely and keep you updated on the latest with the Birds. Sixers lost to the Trailblazers last night, 135-118. West Coast trip comes to a close. Blazers made 22 threes in the game, including 8 from Toumani Camara, a career-high 30 points for him. They're off tonight. They have their last game before the All-Star break tomorrow night. Pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow. So you get your first glimpse of baseball down in Clearwater. Amy Fadul joins the guys coming up next. She'll be with us for the remainder of the show. This update is brought to you by Audible. If you're stuck in traffic, take care of you with help from the top voices in well-being on Audible. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com/wellbeing. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app. We welcome Amy Fadul on the air now, but the conversation started during the commercial break because we were talking about, maybe those minutes that Jared McCain could have played yesterday.
Did you hear Nick Nurse? Hi, everybody. Did you hear Nick Nurse ask that specifically at postgame?
I did not. Believe it or not, Mark, I was not watching the Sixers.
Amy, we didn't watch you.
I didn't stay up for Nick Nurse
today.
That is ridiculous. It was in the first block. All you had to do was wait up.
It's too late
until 12:40.
No, after the
a.m.
It's too late.
I was done after the third quarter.
Well,
I was disgusted. I was disgusted.
That was from the if I would go to the wife archives. Can't you just check the highlights on that in the morning?
Yeah. No.
Turn off the TV. Can't you just check the highlights?
No.
You have to go.
Well, Kyle Lowry got his minutes in yesterday.
Listen, they were. So did Patrick Baldwin. So did Marshawn Beauchamp.
So you're saying just in 2 days later, they could have actually used Jared McCain.
He was actually he was asked about that, not by name. It was do you think that you have enough depth? And that's a real concern.
Sure.
I mean, it was a concern. Let's listen. I mean, if you talk about it, it was a concern beforehand. It was a concern always. How is your bench going to hold up if you have any kind of injuries or illness or anything with people out?
Right.
That was a question well before the trade deadline.
Sure.
And when you guys asked me, I always thought they needed another wing. I still obviously think that. The PG news came out, and I was like, well, absolutely you need a wing. And now you have 3 guards that are in your rotation. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Kyle Lowry is the guy in case of emergency, which, wow.
In case of
emergency,
break glass. And I'm sure when he saw that Quentin Grimes was out,
Isn't that great?
Dominic Barlow and Joel Embiid, it was like, oh. wait, that's me.
That's the point.
That's me.
I understand. I think you and I see Jared McCain very similarly. Good player.
Good club.
I'm not gonna overrate Jared McCain. I think there was a lot of that when he was first traded. Like, oh my God, you traded baby Steph. Like, I thought that was a bit of a stretch from some Sixers fans out there.
I hope no one actually said that sentence.
No, people
baby
actually
Steph.
said it. I saw it, Amy.
And okay.
But there are
Nobody
also
of credibility said.
But there are also people going, "Why are you overreacting to this trade?" And it's for the reason we just watched play out yesterday. You're one twisted ankle away, and I'm not even talking Maxey Edgecombe. It ended up being an illness to Quentin Grimes, where now Kyle Lowry's playing, and I'm seeing reports that they might try to get Lonzo Ball because they need it.
Yes, Mark brought this. You guys,
who's atrocious?
Who's the things you guys miss on the postgame show? So Mark brought that up, and there was a moment where I literally, you guys, the dead air is not great, but there was a solid 5 seconds of me just staring at Mark, thinking, how do I broach this subject? I'm not a fan of the move if it's Lonzo Ball. I will say that, and I'm sure he's a nice human. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the stuff that he would provide for any team is not what the Sixers need. It doesn't mean that he's not a viable NBA player. I just don't understand what he would do on this team besides be a facilitator, very good, and I get that he's tall. Check.
Yeah.
That's not enough for me. If you're going to bring in a guard, you're going to need actual scoring. He does not score.
We brought up Willie Cauley-Stein last week. Willie
Someone I'm
Cauley-Stein,
very familiar with.
He fit the profile. Tall
human.
Lanky.
Tall.
Quick. But good was not one of those things that fit Willie Cauley-Stein, with all due respect.
I remember when he got in the game and he made it 3 and everybody's like, ooh, and I'm like, well, of course. Wide open, yes.
Yeah.
No.
So you subtract. It's honestly, you subtract from a roster. If they added a Lonzo Ball after getting rid of Jared McCain, I would look at and say, Daryl, what was the plan here?
Yeah, obviously it would be a temporary thing. I mean, if you look at the numbers, they're not going to be far off. If you look at just if you had no face with the numbers and you just looked at the straight numbers, you're going to be like, oh, all right. And then you put in that he's 6'6" as opposed to 6'2". You put in that he's a pretty good defender, and that he is a facilitator. His assist numbers are going to be higher. You would probably look at it and be like, oh, okay. And I think that, and this is unfortunate for Lonzo Ball, he has that ball stink kind of like.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just said that sentence out loud.
Yep, that's all right. I knew where you're going.
Lonzo, like the name.
Yeah.
I know, John. So I didn't realize what I was saying, but yeah. So clip that.
He's got ball stink.
Connor, if that isn't clipped.
Oh, it is.
Thank you.
As soon as I said it, but I mean the name, as in people look at LiAngelo and LaMelo and Lonzo and the dad and think, whoa, I don't know, steer clear. LaMelo is a tremendous player. There is no doubt about that. Lonzo, I think, has a purpose on certain teams. I just don't know what his purpose would be on this team.
Yeah. By the way,
I don't know.
Fun story. I spoke with LeVar Ball once.
Did you really?
I booked him I was producing for Rob and Harry back in the day. Rob Ellis and Harry Mays. And I booked LeVar because it was after he said he didn't want his son playing for Philadelphia, which would be really interesting to revisit if the Sixers do sign him. But off the air, when I called him, I was like, by the way, I don't know if this is an act or not, but you're doing a hell of a job marketing your son. He goes, checks keep on coming in, man.
I mean,
it was
very smart.
It was all a game, and it worked. And let's face it, LiAngelo, probably not an NBA player.
No.
Oh, by the way, the league has told you that since then.
Yeah.
Great rapper, though.
Listen, the Tweaker song is tremendous.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
That's a great song. Shawnee introduced me that song months ago. Tremendous.
I would say this. He made his family a lot of money.
Yes, he did.
I would say he is the basketball equivalent of Kris Jenner.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I would judge. He's
don't hate the player, hate the game.
Leak the sex tape of your own child.
Oh,
in order to build a franchise for your family. LeVar Ball just he was willing to make himself the fool.
Yeah.
Do things crazy, but he created a financial company for his family.
I'm going to give you the numbers. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. So 30% shooting from the field, 3.27, assists 4. Okay. So that's Lonzo Ball, obviously. Jared McCain, 38% from the field, 37% from 3 on a much lower, obviously, volume, and 1.7 assists.
But you would also take into account that Jared McCain's been in the league for 5 minutes, and you're going,
Correct.
maybe he can grow even more.
Correct. Yeah, you're selling.
Lonzo Ball's Lonzo Ball. Like Lonzo Ball, there's no resurgence.
It would be a
Kepler.
one-off. He would be done at the end of the season. It would be to have that defense and the assisting. That would be it.
Have you ever seen the? I saw one of these shows too that had him and his wife on TV. That him and his wife were being showcased. LeVar and his wife were on TV. They're two parents that really love their kids and really like they. It seems like a really good family and everything like that. So look, it's great. But
they made something.
They made something. But I really wonder with Daryl Morey, what were you thinking?
They made 3 somethings.
Yes,
what were you thinking?
Amy, what happens at halftime?
Because we were asleep.
Maybe it's one of those things. They have big snacks and they just get tired. Was that tryptophan?
Yeah,
that's it.
Turkey? You think they have turkey and with heavy gravy like Elaine?
I'm not entirely sure at this point. There's something. It should be really like there should be a deep dive.
I gave the numbers earlier. They average 26.2 points per third quarter, where they score 26.2 points per third quarter. That is dead last in the NBA. They are allowing 30.6 points per fourth quarter, which is fourth worst in the NBA. And we are, 53 games in now?
Yeah.
So, this isn't a...
You see the point differential?
This isn't a 10-game sample size. Can you give us the point differential?
96.
Yeah.
Outscored in the third quarter, 96. That was their worst third quarter yesterday of the season. Woo.
Can you explain to us why?
I want to ask Amy the question that... Did you hear our debate about it earlier?
I did.
Okay. Did you fall more towards do you blame players or do you blame coaching?
I mean, the answer is yes.
Both.
Both.
We blame both.
But I honestly, until probably the last couple of games, I probably was leaning on the players are just kind of not executing. At some point, doesn't the coach have to be like, okay, we're going to start. Coaches do not like to call plays. They do not call plays.
Yeah.
It is an NBA thing. That is not a Nick Nurse thing. That is an NBA thing. Steve Kerr doesn't call plays. Phil Jackson rarely called plays. They have the design. They have the idea. Sure. They like to be in the flow. They set them up for success type of vibe. At some point when you see that it's going so sideways, and Nick Nurse it was 26-7 run. He calls a timeout. I'm like, well, he's going to call a play. And he did. And then all of a sudden they just fell back into it. And I get yesterday is going to be an example of not enough people out there. You can't play Tyrese Maxey 45 minutes. I know they probably wanted to, but you couldn't.
They do try.
They tried it. It was an egregious example of the third quarter woes. And I think that there has to be some kind of overt play calling to try to stop the skid because it's out of control. When you're outscored 96 points in the third quarters of 50-plus games, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
And some of them are close. That was not close.
No, that was not even close. Eagles also are on the table today, Amy. We have a question that we want your answer, and, of course, we'll get back to our text line, 610-632-0975. John and I touched on this yesterday, but we wanted to expand on the conversation this morning. The last 2 champions in the NFL, tell me what their offense does, really, really well. It's
run
the ball.
Yeah.
Very careful. Now, Sam Darnold was not careful during the regular season with all his interceptions. But in the playoffs, it was lead by the defense, lead by the ground game, and don't make mistakes throwing the football. Now, Darnold had to have one really good throwing game, and that was the NFC Championship game against the Rams, just like how Jalen Hurts had to have one really good throwing game, and it was the Super Bowl against the Chiefs because they took away the run, right? Everything was working against the Commanders, but the game against Kansas City, the Chiefs found the way to stop Saquon, so Jalen had to throw in order to win, and they did. So both quarterbacks had the one game where they needed to do a little bit more than what they had been doing previously. We joked about it yesterday that Nick Sirianni was probably the only guy that enjoyed the game on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's watching his offense. Prevent offense, don't do too much, little shots here, run the football. Is that the formula right now? It doesn't mean it's going to continue because we know that eras in football change constantly. But is that a formula right now? Have a good defense and don't screw up on offense.
Or have an all-time quarterback.
Right.
I mean, I feel like that's going to be
or it's Mahomes. Yeah.
precisely. And that was exactly what I'm alluding to. Yeah, no, I mean, right now, if you have Patrick Mahomes, then you're going to be able to do whatever it is you want. It doesn't matter who your receivers are. It doesn't matter what your defense is going to do because you're Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, to your point, why not? Why couldn't that be the blueprint right now? You have two examples of it, very, very prime examples. I think that you look at, there's some parallels. Super skilled wide receivers not utilized because of the way that they were defending them. A.J. Brown, Jackson Smith, and Jigba obviously being the parallels in that regard. Two very dynamic running backs, Kenneth Walker and Saquon Barkley, and then quarterbacks that have the ability to throw when called upon, but really you're looking at guys that are going to manage the game. And I say that in the nicest way.
Yep.
I feel like game manager has such a bad connotation, and it is not. There's nothing wrong with managing a game. It's such a negative connotation.
You're literally saying how many times did we have this
I
conversation?
hate when people say, "Oh,
we
he's the game manager."
We would say game
Good.
manager, and then we would get calls or texts of
that we were degrading.
How are you saying that about? And I'm like, no. I'm saying this as a good thing.
That we're degrading Jalen if we say game manager.
You say that about it. Doesn't matter what inner quarterback name here, and everybody says, "Oh, he's a game manager." It's like, great.
Yeah.
Don't you want him to manage the game a little bit?
I do.
Other than that, like they're just out there being, reckless and like cowboying it up. I don't want that. I would prefer somebody that it realizes the game and situation and context.
I say it all the time. It's so much fun to sit down and watch Josh Allen play. But I got to tell you, I think Josh Allen would annoy the hell out of me maybe if I had to watch him
a little
play.
Brett Favre as far as like
that I'm going to
when
do
it works,
the reckless.
it's great.
I'm going to do the reckless thing that's going to drive me crazy.
It's at least I think his recklessness is different from like what Lamar Jackson puts out there. For me, I feel like it's a calculated recklessness. Now, obviously, it doesn't always pay off. Sometimes when I watch Lamar Jackson, I'm like, I don't even know what you're doing out there, fella. But I feel like there is a parallel between the last two Super Bowl champs. But then, the other example would be if you have a pretty good defense and an all-world quarterback, that's probably going to get you through, too.
Yeah, and we see now back-to-back years where very careful, like Sam Darnold did not have some incredible statistical performance, but he did not hurt his team, which Drake May, on the other hand, did, and the Patriots lost. What do we got on the text line, Connor? At 610-632-0975. And then Connor's going to ask, Amy, you'll be a part of the trivia game. You're a little bit behind. I'm only up 2-1 to John. Connor has Phillies trivia for us.
Dave Dombrowski and Connor had lunch yesterday.
To try to make us feel better. It's an agenda-driven trivia game
make you
today.
feel better.
And so far the score is 2-1, me to John.
Do you feel better?
But it's 3-0, not feeling better.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, no.
better.
I understand Connor's agenda, and I actually think that I can understand where his heart is because I know he's got a big heart. Connor's got a big heart.
Yeah, listen to your heart. That's what Jeffrey Lurie once said.
Yeah, the numbers didn't come from my heart that we're reading off, but we'll get to that. Let's go to the text line because Mo from Horsham is talking exactly about what you guys were talking about style-wise. He says, everyone wants the high-flying 400 yards a game passing, but if there's a W at the end of the day, nobody should be mad at the alternative.
Right. Now, here's the deal. A couple of years ago, you needed to have the 400 yards passing in order to win. Like, I still remember there was a game. It was a Thursday night. It was like Rams, Bengals, and it was Stafford and Burrow, and it was
that was an amazing
40
game.
40-37.
Was it 42-40 or something?
Yeah,
it was wild.
Like they had to throw for 400 yards. Look, think of our first Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
Nick Foles had to be perfect.
Unbelievable.
In order to beat Tom Brady.
He had to not turn the ball over.
There was one turnover. Remember, Alshon bobbled it, and it went into
which was like a.
Oh, what is his
name? That was a fluky.
That was fluky.
He had long hair, the cornerback for the Patriots. I forget. But like there was a time where you needed to win that way. We talked about last year the return of the back. Look at how teams were winning this year. They kind of followed what the Eagles did. So maybe are the Eagles trying to be ahead of the curve again with Sean Mannion, even though that's been a mindset for a lot of teams? I don't know. We'll see what the Eagles end up doing. Are they trying to take one step ahead? Or was this just the best guy for the job? What else we got on the text line?
All right. We also have a check-in here on that Sixers conversation we were having earlier because Joe from West Philly believes the Philadelphia 76ers issues they don't have a true ball handler. And when other teams tend to put extra pressure on their guards, at times they fall apart like a cheap suit.
Yeah, that's why Kyle Lowry was here a couple of years ago, was because they needed a true point guard. I mean, Tyrese Maxey's not a point guard. He's not. He's tremendous.
That's the thought behind when people are throwing a name like Lonzo Ball out there because he is more of a facilitator, a pass-first guard, and that would help because you would take the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hand and he could facilitate in his own way.
Right. And, a lot of talk is, well, why is Embiid always at the top of the key? How many entry-level passes are you actually getting from certain guys? Like, there is some struggle bus sometimes.
Yeah,
now, that's where he plays.
Embiid's played a lot more closer to the basket this year than he has. We actually did a breakdown of that. It's been remarkable. And I think you saw it, and then when you actually look at it, you're like,
wow, how about that?
I saw that breakdown. See, it's not like we're always
you
asleep.
watched that one.
It's not that we're always asleep.
Okay.
All right, give us a trivia question, Connor. Try to make us feel better. It's not working so far, but what do we got?
Okay, there's a bonus part of this. So I read an interesting article about the number one statistic that predicts a World Series winner. It's a regular baseball statistic. What do you think is the one that is most correlated with winning the World Series?
WAR.
Amy?
Can I say starting pitching ERA?
Johnny?
Relief pitching ERA.
All incorrect. OPS is the number one most correlated with where teams rank at the top versus a World Series winner. So that's on base percentage plus slugging. Just basically overall your hit.
Okay.
So the question is for the Phillies, where did they rank last year in OPS?
Well, I can tell you their outfield was bottom three.
Yeah.
But as a team.
As a team, because Kyle Schwarber probably completely carried. I'll say 5th.
We'll give Johnny the point as closest to. It was 4th, and behind only the Yankees, Dodgers, and Blue Jays.
As closest to. 3 and 5 is 1 away.
Oh, you were 5? Yeah, well, you
but
went
Price is Right. You went over.
Okay. Well, I didn't know we were playing Price is Right.
No one said Price is Right rules.
Excuse me. We're playing Price is Right rules on this show.
I just love how Connor goes, I'll give it to John because he's closer.
And I was like,
Price is Right.
I was like, that's not how that
Screw
works.
you, that's why. The bottom line is 2 of the 3 teams above them were the World Series teams. And obviously the Yankees' offense is high caliber with a guy like Aaron Judge. But the Phillies are right in that mix with the top predictor of World Series winners.
All right.
Okay.
That's the best one that you've given.
Even though I know that the outfield's OPS was...
Exactly.
Yeah, but
it's going to be better this year, though.
Yeah, because we got a 9-hole hitter.
Yeah, it can't be worse. No, as Amy says, it can't be worse. It can't be worse.
Sure. Why not?
Garcia's strikeout numbers are worse than Castellanos's.
Well, yes.
Justin Crawford is a 9-hole hitter to start. Hopefully that's
what. No, I don't think he's going to be. That's what I want Justin Crawford to be a 9-hole hitter all year. Give the kid a break. Let him get in here and
what if he's a true leadoff hitter?
He's not a leadoff hitter.
I don't think we could say that without him ever playing at the major leagues before.
Let him get in as a 9-hole hitter before we see anything. For God's sakes, you're projecting him to be somewhere where they're not.
He's a 9-hole hitter to start, for sure.
Yes.
All right, talking about coming up next. Who the hell is Chris Cooper? Kuper Cooper. Well, it's crazy that he's an offensive lineman from Alaska that played for the Broncos. And it's not Mark Schlereth. But Mark Schlereth joins us next to talk more about Chris Cooper. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Amy with us here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Going to tell you that it's so great to have a Bradford White water heater in your house. So even if you didn't stay up and watch Amy late at night, when you get up at 4 in the morning, you need a hot shower. And a Bradford White water heater is going to give you all the hot water you ever need when you need it on demand. Plus, you want to be able to run your dishwasher. You want to be able to have the laundry run whenever you need it. A Bradford White water heater is super reliable for your home or for your business. And, a lot of people are thinking, how can we get better efficiency out of our water heaters for being able to the cost to run them? Well, they're Infinity tankless models and they're Aerotherm hybrid heat pump models. These things are like state of the art. You can even run them through apps. It's amazing. The finest components from around the world go to put together these Bradford White water heaters. And they're a Philly-based company, so what do? They understand you. So all of your demands, they understand how to meet them, and they're like you, so they know they want to be able to deliver every single day. Reliability, dependability, and your local plumbing professionals, they know Bradford White. So go to bradfordwhite.com. A plumbing professional be connected with you. They can bring the model that's perfect for you right to your home or your business. They can install it for peak efficiency, and then you can learn what I already know. How you heat your water, it matters. Choose my friends at Bradford White.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Following up a legend, I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles hired their next offensive line coach yesterday, the replacement for the legendary Jeff Stoutland, Chris Cooper, the hire. Cooper played 8 years at guard for the Broncos and was Minnesota's offensive line coach for the past 4 years, giving him some familiarity and crossover time with Eagles offensive coordinator Sean Mannion. A big question for Cooper, though, is who's going to be on that offensive line. There are questions about Lane Johnson, questions about Landon Dickerson. Zach Berman broke it down for us yesterday when he joined Kincade Salciunas. Here's what he had to say about Lane.
The thing with Lane, he's a prideful person. I think the big thing with him is he feels like he can physically be the best right tackle in football. I think we're going to see him out there, but I think a lot of that depends on how he's feeling health-wise.
There are plenty of questions on the offensive line and the new O-line coach. Mark Schlereth joins us coming up next. He's got some familiarity with Chris Cooper, so we'll keep you updated. The Sixers lost to the Trailblazers 135-118 last night. Blazers made 22 threes in the game. Sixers are off tonight. They have their last game before the All-Star break tomorrow night as they come back to Philadelphia from that West Coast swing. Pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow, so it's just about baseball season. This update is brought to you by Maple Grove Farms Pure Maple Syrup. Maple Grove Farms started a sweet tradition on a Vermont family farm, and they are still pouring the magic onto your plate. Make mornings legendary. Grab your Maple Grove Farms Pure Maple Syrup bottle at Walmart today. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
6:30 on this Tuesday morning, which means Amy Fadul in studio with us as well. It is Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic, and obviously the Eagles are always on the table. The NFL, the league that never sleeps. We had a Super Bowl champion crowned Sunday, and we're already breaking down the top 10 quarterbacks on a Monday because that's what happened nationally on some shows. But the Eagles obviously also are trying to figure out their coaching staff, and they just hired Chris Cooper to be the offensive line coach. When you say offensive lineman out of Alaska that played for the Denver Broncos, your first thought is obviously Chris Cooper.
Yeah,
right there, right off the tongue.
Yeah, I looked at
absolutely.
I looked at my phone. I couldn't find Chris Cooper, so I thought, well, who in my phone would played offensive line, played in Denver, and might know something about the guy from Anchorage, Alaska?
There's another one?
Yes. One that my wife's a big fan of, Mark Schlereth, who joins us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Hi, Mark.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Going from Alaska to the NFL to Denver. I mean, the correlations between you and Cooper don't just end there, though. You've known Chris Cooper a long time, Stink.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they used to do a camp here. A guy by the name of Lauren Landau did a pre-draft camp, and I remember Christian McCaffrey being at that camp, a lot of different guys being at that camp, but Chris Cooper was also at that camp. So I actually worked with Chris Cooper pre-draft before he got drafted by the Denver Broncos. He's a hell of a football player, great dude, really good coach, and like he's a good one. It'll be interesting to see exactly what transpires in Philadelphia, but he is a good one. Now, I'm not going to say he's Jeff Stoutland, because that dude, within the circles of offensive line play and the league, that dude's a legend. But Chris Cooper's a good one.
You asked me yesterday, what was behind Stoutland leaving Philadelphia, and part of it was feeling marginalized by the head coach and some of the decisions that were made last year. You, as a former offensive lineman, a guy who now works in broadcast and everything, you would talk to these coaches. You've seen the operation. How tough of a job is Chris Cooper walking into?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think there's been, things, and I'm on the outside looking in. You guys are closer to it than I am. But just watching it, some of the feeling of dysfunction that's going on there. I just remember doing a bunch of Philadelphia games over the years, going down and watching Stoutland Sunday morning work out the guys who aren't going to play and working them out like, hey, man, this is life or death. Hey, man, like you're going to get a chance at some point. And, I think the dirty little secret in the NFL is everybody talks about the draft and, how important the draft is. The development of players after the draft are far more important than the draft itself. And I think one of the things that Stoutland has done a phenomenal job of is his ability to develop young guys, his ability to have a voice and say, hey, man, we need to continue to bolster our offensive line. Give me the backups so that we can continue to grow this thing. And, I don't know how much of a voice Chris Cooper will have in that. I think one of the things that's really interesting to me, and it's one of the frustrations, I think, for a lot of offensive line coaches in the league, is the propensity in this league to kill every play, to have 2 or 3 plays going up to the line of scrimmage. And it's almost 85% of the time you're going looking for indicators on what play you're going to run. And there's a beauty and there's a value and there's a toughness in, hey, man, we're going to call this and run an 18 handoff force. This play is good against everything. Let's roll. And it allows you to be the aggressor. It allows you to take what I like to say when you get to the pass protection aspect of it, it allows you to take the passive out of pass protection. And if those things are getting squeezed and you're not allowed to make some of those decisions and you're not allowed to have a voice in that, it can be really frustrating.
Mark, I was just going to ask about the relationship that you think that he could have with there is some of the Eagles connections already and how much that could kind of play into it. Obviously having known Sean Mannion a little bit with their paths crossing with the Packers, and then his relationship that he knows a little bit with Vic Fangio. That might help a little bit. I don't want to say like grease the wheels, but certainly is a guy coming in, and you mentioned replacing a legendary coach, and he wants to make sure, gets off on the right foot.
Yeah, I think it's always nice to have relationships. You always want to work with guys that you respect and guys that you know, and then guys ultimately that you can argue with, because there has to be a healthy level of respect and a healthy level of headbutting that goes on in a coaching staff, so that you can actually hear everybody's opinion and respect everybody's opinion. The best coaches in the world, to me, are guys that understand everybody's issues, everybody's problems. And every different position coach has problems within his room that he's got to solve, things that they do well, things that they don't do well. And, I'll go back to just the Super Bowl. We all watched the Super Bowl. And I just thought that the Patriots did a horrendous job, and I think Josh McDaniels is a tremendous coach. But they did just a horrendous job in supporting their two rookies on the left side, Jared Wilson and Will Campbell. And, and I say this all the time, and I mean it. You put a guy in a position to fail, don't be surprised when he fails, because you're the dumbass that put him in that position. And they put them in a position to fail on a consistent basis. And if you don't have the ability to push back as a coach, you don't have the ability to say, hey, guys, you're killing us right now. Your play calling, Josh, is killing me right now. My guys can't hold up with this pass rush and this blitz they continue to bring. Like, you have got to change the way you're doing things. We got to throw some screens. We got to maybe change our run game and throw a trap in there with this upfield pressure we get. We've got to slow them down, take some of the starch out of these guys, and you're not allowing me the opportunity to do that. And if you can't have that shouting match on the sideline, then you're in trouble.
Mark, I don't know how many fan bases know who their offensive line coach is. We obviously knew who Jeff Stoutland was and the success that he had. Put resume to the side. What to you makes Jeff Stoutland such a great offensive line coach, such a great respected coach, not just in Philadelphia where we know his name, but across league circles? When the news came out that he was leaving, there was a reaction all across the NFL. So what made Jeff Stoutland so great, in your opinion?
That is offensive line's always played great, regardless of who played in them. When guys would get injured and the backup would come up, and you'd think, oh my man, now you got an opportunity, right? You got an opportunity to go out there and attack a guy, and the guy just plays lights out good. Like, that whole group plays great together. I think that's where you get so much respect, when everybody is on the same page. You're not making a bunch of mental errors. And you guys play well together. Listen, playing offensive line is such a unique position. It's 5 becoming 1. And if you don't have that, you cannot and you will not play well. And so it takes a special person to get you guys, all 5 guys, on the same page, working in unison together. And when you see it, to me, it's an absolutely beautiful thing. But to be good, you can have a collection of 5 really good individual athletes that are a horrible offensive line, and then you can have a group of 5 guys that are throwaways from other organizations. They come together and play exceptionally well, and I think that's the thing that Stoutland has done. Then, like I said, the other thing is his ability to develop younger guys, to get draft picks, to develop those guys, and have those guys enter into a game when somebody is injured or somebody leaves in free agency, and have seamless transitions.
Mark, you've told me many times about how much you've enjoyed your interactions talking football with Nick Sirianni and what kind of a guy he is and everything. And a lot of times he's taken a lot of heat around here because it's been a really noisy tenure. Despite the success, there's a lot of drama around this team. There's a lot of noise around it. Have you ever seen a team that's had the success of the Eagles where the head coach seems to be constantly surrounded by this much noise?
No, I really haven't. And it is incredible because there is a lot of noise. And so, you wonder within the organization. Then I start thinking about, general manager. I start thinking about owner. I start thinking about what are all the other extenuating circumstances, all the other factors that help create that noise. And then, most of it's going to fall on the guy who's in charge of the organization, or at least the face of the organization that's going to stand at the podium. That's the head coach. And, there certainly seems to be issues, whether it's Jalen Hurts, whether it's, A.J. Brown. Like, there always seems to be something flowing within that organization. So, really, for me, I think he's done a tremendous job considering, all the noise that we talk about. And then, of course, he brings some of that on himself, jawing with fans and everything else. So he's a competitive dude. There's no question about that. And I think he's done an absolutely amazing job considering, like we talked about, all the noise that has been surrounded with the Philadelphia Eagles over the last couple of years.
Mark, we appreciate the time. Thank you for the insight, and thank you for helping develop the next offensive line coach for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk to you, Johnny.
All right, man. See you.
There's
Bye-bye.
Mark Schlereth. It's just crazy. 2 offensive linemen from Anchorage, Alaska, that played for the Denver Broncos.
One of my favorite people I've ever worked with. He is incredible and good insights. And he, by the way, he really does respect the hell out of Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
Only 16 players ever played in the NFL from Alaska.
Is that
really?
right?
Fun fact.
By the way, it's a very scary place to live when you hear stories from like Mark and other people. Like, it's a hard place to come out.
No sunshine for. We're complaining about the snow
all
that's
the
not melting.
sunshine.
Right,
you have all the
exactly.
sunshine, or you have no sunshine.
Or nothing at all.
Coming up next, Sam Darnold or Jalen Hurts. I can't believe I passed that question.
That's a sentence.
But we heard it this morning. We'll play it for Amy coming up next. Also, what's the old saying? God, country, and family, or God, family, country? That or $15 million? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. $15 million from that sounds nice, too. You want to know why betting the winter games on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge makes sense? Well, they got it all. Game lines, medal counts, finding your angle in the events you care most about. I know Amy is a big speed skating fan. So she locks into the FanDuel Sportsbook app, and she loves. Paulo Antonino still going on? I don't know if that's true or not.
You really haven't been watching.
FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. The winter games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than to bet on FanDuel. Curling matches that start slow and somehow get tense fast. I do love curling. Hockey games, right? USA. So many options to choose from. Medal counts. Italy right now, the home country, in the lead with the most medals. You can bet on the most medals. You can also bet on the country to have the most gold. FanDuel, whatever you want to do, you can do it right there. Play your game. You got to be 21 plus, present Pennsylvania. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Super Bowl is over, and now
what they're going to get into.
Well, we're going to react to what Colin Cowherd had to say. That's what we're going to get into. It is a Tuesday with Amy Fadul with us until the end of the show today. So, Amy, did you hear said clip by Colin Cowherd? We played it way back in the 6 o'clock hour. I hope you didn't because you have your West Coast trip that
I was
finally
up,
ended.
but I was not. I was still like getting stuff ready for breakfast and lunch before I left.
Yeah.
So no,
You're a busy bee. So Colin Cowherd yesterday, because we can't let the Super Bowl play out for like more than 5 seconds.
Correct.
We have to start doing quarterback rankings. And where Sam Darnold is, which it is an interesting question because Sam Darnold, nobody in the world had him as a top 10 quarterback going into the 2025-26 season. I can't imagine there's a single list unless it was some 17-year-old Seahawks fan. Like I can't imagine that there are many Sam Darnold top 10 lists out there. He wins the Super Bowl. So now all of a sudden it's, wow, is he a top 10 quarterback? But we couldn't let the Super Bowl, breathe for like more than 5 minutes.
No.
This was Colin Cowherd talking up Sam Darnold and bringing down Jalen Hurts.
I think you start looking at the NFL. Jalen Hurts, you guys have all, for the last couple of years, have been trying to tell me Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts are top 10 quarterbacks. So is Sam Darnold now a top 10 quarterback? He's bigger than both. He's got a bigger arm than both. I would say he's as athletic as Jalen Hurts, much better in the pocket, bigger athlete, throws over the middle of the field better. So all you wanted Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy in the top 10, ask yourself this. Right now, look in the NFC. What quarterback in the NFC tomorrow, if you're building a franchise, Darnold's only 28. What quarterback do you take over Sam Darnold? Nobody's taken Brock Purdy. Not a single GM. Nobody's taken Jalen Hurts over Sam Darnold. Nobody. Darnold is loved in the locker room. I have a source that tells me, and this is now like public, Jalen Hurts is not. He doesn't galvanize a locker room. So ask yourself, in the NFC, who would you take?
Okay, I'm going to give you something from a listener who did the work, who listens to Colin's show. He dug up 3 points from Colin where Colin does his quarterback rankings.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And in the past year, Colin had Hurts at 7, 8, and 9.
yeah, I mean,
And he says, you people
I like
have
how
been
he pointed
telling
out.
me.
He's just like Sam Darnold's 28. Jalen Hurts is 27. Like, are we just naming numbers now? Like,
you people have been telling me that Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback.
he's one of the people.
No, Colin. You've been telling us that he was in the past year 9, 8, and 7.
By the way, the athleticism one was an interesting.
Seriously?
He's a bigger athlete.
Are
do you mean like taller?
Because what are you talking
like
about?
if athleticism isn't just running, we get it.
Correct.
But
It's part of it.
Jalen Hurts in 2022, I'll just pick that year, had 760 rushing yards. In Sam Darnold's career, he has 1,067. That's 8 years versus 1 season.
Do you
so
think
the
that
athleticism thing is
Sam
weird.
Darnold's running a tush push effectively? Do you think he's doing the bootleg effectively?
No.
He's a larger human.
He is. That's
That's
true.
maybe when I was like, okay.
Well, the
he's
one thing I can't
6'3" versus 6'1".
You can't deny measurables, but I asked the question.
He literally just named things like he's 28. He's taller.
He's the first redheaded quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl.
Great.
There you go.
Jalen Hurts.
Did-
Jalen Hurts doesn't have red hair.
Doesn't have
He
red
could
hair.
die.
Did Ray Dunn miss that yesterday?
Yeah.
I heard when we played it earlier, I said measurables aside, because I know that is a thing for people. It's why they still think Justin Herbert's some elite quarterback. Measurables aside, what does Sam Darnold have over Jalen Hurts in careers, their respective careers, other than being drafted higher? What does he have over him?
He was drafted to a worse organization. It derailed him for the first several years of his career.
And somebody pointed out on YouTube, put Jalen on that Jets team and see how Jalen plays. But here's the deal. Sam Darnold has played his best since he played with Justin Jefferson and Jackson Smith and Jigba. So when people take away from what Jalen has been able to accomplish.
Great example.
Oh, well, he's only good because of AJ.
Of course you're good because you've got those guys.
Well, Darnold's 2 best seasons have been with 2 of the top receivers in the NFL.
And I think this year was finally the year that he showed, because we all watched last year in the regular season, tremendous regular season for Sam Darnold. You're thinking this guy's going to make himself a lot of cash.
And he got paid.
But then he completely flamed out in the playoffs with the Vikings. And so that definitely followed him a little bit. So good for him for rising above being drafted and kind of, mired in that Jets mess. Good for him for channeling through.
But
it doesn't mean that he's better. Exactly. It doesn't mean that he's better than Jalen Hurts because he had a really good season. Everybody has one good season. You don't. Why are we sitting here and having these conversations?
And
Jalen Hurts is a very good quarterback, everyone.
The Vikings
That's
signed,
not a surprise.
The Vikings signed Sam Darnold on March 12th of 2024. And then they went on and they drafted J.J. McCarthy. He was only meant to be a bridge. The Vikings didn't even believe in Sam Darnold. And then even when they got to see him. They got to see everything about him. They said, nah, we're good. We're going with J.J. McCarthy. So, I mean, Sam Darnold, it's such a ridiculous premise by Colin's scriptwriter.
You can enjoy Sam Darnold for what he has accomplished in his career. Here's a guy that probably thought about quitting football at certain times.
Yeah. Like
right?
Nick Foles had that moment. And it took Andy Reid calling him to be his backup.
Because you've had some really rough years, and you've been on some bad teams, and you didn't know if you were going to get that chance. You can celebrate that without tearing down other humans.
Yeah, I just want to celebrate the fact that he won.
The day after he wins a title.
And now we're doing...
It's like, oh, yeah. Well, he's top 5, obviously, at this point. Maybe put him up there with Josh Allen.
Yeah,
like,
why not?
Doing?
Because he won and Josh Allen
hasn't. Right? Look at him.
All right. God, family, country.
Is that how?
That's the old saying, right? God, family, country. God, family, country, or $15 million.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I did not see this story until yesterday, but it came out in the end of January, so we're about 2 weeks removed from it. There is somebody named Mervyn Raudabaugh who owns a farm in Silver Spring Township, Cumberland County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The Raudabaughs have had this farm for more than 51 years. Milk farm, lots of cows, all kinds of other stuff. But that's their number one thing is milk from cows. Generation. It's actually really his mother passed away in his arms inside the family barn of old age. Right. So like this has been family thing. You name it. A high-tech data center.
Oh, I've heard about these.
Offered $15 million for the land. And the Raudabaughs said no. Now, I will add to the story, they did get $2 million from the Lancaster Farmland Trust to keep it farmlands. They no longer own the farm. They did get $2 million out of it. By the way, $2 million is life-changing money. It is.
Yes.
$15 million.
I'd imagine it goes a long way in Cumberland County.
Yes.
It's life-changing for anyone.
$15 million sets up generations.
Except an NBA player, for the most part.
But $2 million is pretty good. So, would you take the $15 million, or would you say, no, I don't want this to be turned into a high-tech center, and I'll take the $2 million instead?
$15 million.
My mom would say, if it was my mom and she died in the barn, my mom would say, you idiot. It's $15 million. Take the $15 million, dope.
Yeah, sorry,
Mom.
My mom would say yes.
It wasn't a farm of 250 years, right? It was
Right.
Just,
51 years.
Oh, my
so
gosh.
Eminent Domain's going to claim that farm anyway. Get your money now.
My mom would smack me from St. Peter and Paul over in Delco.
It's a nice story.
Take the
Build
money,
another
dope.
farm.
It's a nice story.
Yeah, go build another farm and call it Mom's Farm.
Yeah.
A tribute.
You can have all kinds of different
it's
things.
a nice story.
Not just
Ridiculous.
cows. You can have chickens. You can get all kinds of stuff
that
for
again.
$15 million.
Goats? $2 million still not bad.
Horses?
Can't leave that part out of the story, though.
Amy
The $2 million.
Fiddle had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Right,
It's
I'm gonna-
definitely not a farm chick.
Not a farm chick? No.
Coming up next.
Rolling Hills, Kentucky.
Lovely. I'm not
Beautiful.
wasn't from there. Virginia. Born and raised just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Not a lot of farm country down there in the RVA.
Coming up next.
We have grass.
Vineyards.
You will hear the reset promo that tells you what we open the show with. And I cannot wait to go from that to another topic that will go completely against what we've been saying all morning about the Eagles and Seahawks. I'll explain more. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles bring in Chris Cooper. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles hired their next offensive line coach yesterday, Chris Cooper, who was previously the offensive line coach for 4 years in Minnesota. So he has some familiarity with Sean Mannion. He also played 8 years at guard in the league for the Broncos. So some NFL pedigree, some coaching pedigree. But a big question for Cooper is who's going to be available to play on that offensive line as he becomes the successor to Jeff Stoutland. Zach Berman joined us yesterday, and he talked about some of the question marks, including Landon Dickerson.
As far as Landon Dickerson, I don't have any strong feel on what's going to happen with Landon Dickerson. You tend to hear things at the end of every season, and then you kind of see where they are combine time. That's in 2 weeks.
You're going to need the players if you want to make the plays work. So we'll see who's available for that and keep you updated on what's going on with the Eagles offseason. Sixers fell to the Trailblazers 135-118 last night. Another rough third quarter for them. At least the West Coast swing is over. They're off tonight and they're back home tomorrow night for their final game ahead of the All-Star break. Pitchers and catchers report to Clearwater for the Phillies tomorrow, so spring training will technically, officially get going. It's almost baseball season. Amy Fadul remains with us for the remainder of the show. This update's brought to you by NJM Insurance. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Era right now where the conservative approach is actually the right way to go about it, which then makes things interesting that you're bringing in Sean Mannion, who's considered one of the more intelligent offensive minds, and he's not a conservative approach guy. He is a guy that comes up with gadget plays, pre-snap motion. I'm not saying gadget double reverse pass downfield. I'm just saying doing things where you go, oh, wow, that's interesting, which the Eagles have not done on offense the last 2 years.
Yeah, when's the last time you said the Eagles did something interesting? How about this? Some of the red zone this year, we did say that.
Yes.
We said it was creative.
And that's maybe why they were at their best in the red zone, more so than any other spot in the field.
Right, and that's really what I took away yesterday is going, are they fixing something that's not broken? It's broken statistically, but is it broken with their winning record? Is it broken with their record of success?
Now back to the show.
All right, so the question that we're asking you today at 610-632-0975 is whether or not this current era of football, an era could end tomorrow. We don't know. It could completely change. Is this current era of football the play it safe, lead by your dominant defense, run the football? Last year we talked about the return of the back. Two parts, by the way, running back and linebacker, because the Eagles also had linebackers last season, 2024 season.
Fun fact.
About. Is there a formula right now? Lead by your defense, burn clock, and make sure you're not turning the football over. Whereas there was a previous era where you had to throw for 400 yards in order to win. We brought up Chip earlier today. that was a time, first down, touchdown, get down, and other teams were doing the chip was extreme.
Well, and you wanted time of possession. There was things that you
that was a winning time of possession is the new winning formula.
Absolutely.
And when it came down to it in the last two Super Bowls, the team that was more careful and had the better defense won the football game. Like, once the Seahawks, we talked about taking the points. Once the Seahawks saw what they were doing to Drake May, they were like, all right, we don't have to go for it on 4th and 4. There were Super Bowls in recent years where 4th and 4 was green light.
Absolutely.
Wherever you are on the field.
Didn't matter where you were on the field. Because we need points.
This Super Bowl.
They're going to put up points.
Not this one.
This Super Bowl was like, nah.
Good to punt.
Think about the Eagles' first Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Yes.
Tom Brady threw for over 500 yards.
Yeah.
And he didn't win. Like, you had to go for trick plays. And you had to air it out. Like, you were not going to win that game. And then, of course, you go back to the Patriots-Rams game. 13-3. That was...
Right,
that might have been the worst I've ever seen.
That was the worst.
That was actually just
then we had Adam Levine.
Rock fight.
And we had Adam Levine at halftime. So it was
Not
even
a big
worse.
Maroon 5 fan?
It was even worse.
Oh.
It was even worse.
Copy that.
I don't even remember that was that Super Bowl.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
All right, so our question for you, is there a formula right now in the NFL? And that formula we mocked all year from Sirianni. Now, look, if your team stinks, your offense can't get first downs, then that's why we mock Nick Sirianni. But Nick Sirianni don't turn the football over, and that mindset that sometimes we laugh at, well, that was the formula for Seattle in the Super Bowl, was just be careful with the football and let the defense do the work and then hand the ball off to your running back. Sound familiar? 610-632-0975. What do we got on the text line on that? And then Connor's got agenda-driven Phillies trivia questions. We got to get a couple more of those. What do we got on the text line?
All right, Jim in Williamstown checks in, says, watching that Super Bowl did remind me of how the Eagles want to approach things, but the inability to makes me worry about Sean Mannion coming in here and trying to change things even more.
It might look completely different. You asked the question earlier. Is this move
to appease the fan base? Appease the noisy fan base, which has been clamoring for a different offense? Could it be to appease a wide receiver who complained about it, who wants to come back, who they want to pander to? I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Is that they're changing this is a big change in philosophy. Or, as you guys brought up, I never thought of it. As I'm bringing up those points, you guys tossed out, could it be to appease the owner?
Yeah, because he wants it. He wants, first off, analytics.
Right.
He's a big analytic guy.
Well, the analytics have changed. You mentioned it as you go back and now through the last couple of Super Bowls. But that's really, it's emblematic of the playoffs. Let's go back to the Texans this season.
Yeah.
If they had just done the Sam Darnold mode of I'm not going to overthrow and I'm not. If C.J. Stroud had done that kind of, they would have been.
Kept Davis Mills in, but nobody's ready for that conversation.
But you know what I mean? Like they were throwing the ball, and I get it was tough conditions, whatever. Everybody said they couldn't run. You know what they didn't do is they didn't protect the football. They turned that thing over as if it was hot potato. They did not deserve to lose that game. They had a very good defense, but they needed a game manager for a quarterback.
They needed not 4 interceptions.
It was wild.
In the first half.
It was wild to watch that game, and I'm thinking, and then, of course, we see the Patriots. I'm like, Texans could have done that.
Yeah, I absolutely could have. We got a call on the line. Let's go to our man T-Love. What up, T-Love?
Hey, what's going on? Good morning.
Good morning, buddy.
Hey, wow. The Sam Darnold story is one of the great quarterback stories since the story of Kurt Warner. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't like the Seahawks. Don't give a damn about them. But I love the story of Sam Darnold. Okay? It's a great redemption story. Now, as far as comparing him to Jalen Hurts, why would you do that? Sam Darnold, the only comparison I see that you can make is it would be a comparison of coaching. Okay? In the last 3 seasons for Sam Darnold has become remarkably better at his job because
Shanahan, McDonald, and Kubiak.
That part. Okay? Now turn it around, and let's look at Jalen Hurts, and let's look at in the last 4 years where I'm not going to say he failed, but the team failed to live up to what the standard has been. And those were because of coaching. You can draw the lines. I mean, it's so easy to see. I don't understand. Comparing those two, Jalen Hurts is a much better quarterback because he's been better at it for a considerable amount of time now. Plus, he's more athletic, and his game doesn't only encompass passing the ball. He's an efficient runner.
Right. And look, conversations can change, right? Like, let's say, let's follow the Seattle storyline, and thanks for the call, T-Love. Kubiak's gone. Yep. Kubiak now goes to the Raiders. If I made the joke to John, we don't know if there's like a Calvin Fatulo that's on the coaching staff that's buddies with McDonald. What's his name?
Mike McDonald.
Mike McDonald.
All I know is the Patulo we have is still here.
Right. So maybe there is another great offensive mind that they hire and Sam Darnold thrives. Or maybe they hire a bad offensive coordinator and Sam Darnold's back to Sam Darnold. That's a possibility, too. To T-Love's point, he's played for three straight great offensive minds.
And
O'Connell. I accidentally said McDonald. O'Connell.
Well, and
Kevin O'Connell.
In year 2 in the Minnesota, yeah.
And you mentioned Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah.
And Justin Jefferson. Two of the premier, the elite wide receivers. I mean, there's no doubt. And an exceptional defense in Seattle. So, I mean, you can take that kind of blueprint, but you wonder, can it be copied over and over and over again? Can you replicate it? You don't know that. You would hope. But, I mean, to anoint him all of a sudden as like a top 5, top 6 quarterback because he had, strung together some really good games, listen, enjoy it for what it is. I just don't – there's an expression, don't blow someone else's candles out so yours shine brighter. You can go ahead and enjoy two things. His candles can be lit. Jalen Hurts' candles can be lit. I like that one. It's all –
yeah.
We're all aflame here. Everybody's illuminated. It's lovely. You can enjoy it for what it is. And you can look critically at Jalen Hurts without comparing him. Well, I see what Sam Darnold did. Oh,
it's always tear down another person to uplift.
Exactly. Blow someone else's candles out so yours shine brighter.
And our listeners are the best, by the way.
That was a great point. That kind of
another one of our listeners sending along the lines of a video of Colin Cowherd that anybody can go to.
Yeah.
To read where Colin Cowherd had a video in this past month where he finally, I admit that I was wrong about Brock Purdy, and I'm blown away by Brock Purdy. You can go watch the video. I admit I'm wrong. I was blown away by Brock Purdy. So yesterday's script was a bad script. He reads scripts, and then everybody reacts.
And he has a take based on that.
And then everybody reacts, and everybody gets upset. But he contradicted himself in yesterday's Open with he didn't even listen to his own show for the past month.
What are you going to do?
I love our listeners, though.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
By the way, I appreciate MBD chiming in on YouTube, but this is a really interesting conversation.
What about?
MBD says $2 million is not life-changing money.
Yes, it is.
It absolutely is.
That life-changing money, you could NBD.
If you
$2
didn't
million.
If you were making, listen, farmers, that is a hard life.
Uh-huh.
You're up very early, cows and the whatnots, and you don't know where all the money's coming from. You're selling your milk to whomever, if you're a dairy farmer in this case. You're telling me $2 million in Cumberland County is not going to go far? That's going to change your life?
I said it's not enough for somebody to retire, which...
Who says
that's
retire?
Fine. It's life-changing.
Life-changing.
The guy's not up at crack of dawn going out for the dairy cow situation.
I'm going to take $2 million. I can get you...
He doesn't have to do that anymore. Changed his life.
We're going to buy you your $500,000 house. We're going to buy it free and clear, so you never have a mortgage
payment. You have a new truck.
I'm going to make sure that you have. I'm going to make sure your kids have a college education fund that's put away, fully funded. I'm going to make sure you have a retirement account that's fully funded. It's life-changing money. Yeah. That is absolutely life-changing.
I get that you can't retire on it, but for
there are
Joe Schmo farmer guy,
depends on how old's the farmer.
Well, he might be able to retire from farming on it.
No, if you're my age, $2 million, you're retiring. Yeah. If someone walks in and says $2 million, Amy, I love you.
Yeah.
Andrew,
yeah.
See ya. Gone. Done. I'm golfing every day. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, $2 million. There's things that I kind of need fixed at my house that I'm not doing right now because we just came out of the holiday season.
A 45-year-old.
Santa needed his taxes.
It would still change your life, though.
A 45-year-old or 50-year-old could retire on $2 million.
Yeah, it would change your life.
Yeah.
I get that it's not like, oh my God, it's not 10. but it's
my
life
gosh.
changing. It would change your life.
NBD says, I guess it depends on your definition of life changing. And yes.
Yeah, you're changing your
Well,
life.
my life would
You'll
be
never
altered.
you will never stress about money the rest of your life. That's life changing.
Yeah.
That
as
is
long as you
life-changing.
don't go blow it on some fancy record player.
Well, exactly.
Well,
like if you're right now
He's a
among,
dairy farmer. That guy said he's probably pretty prudent.
if you're not among the retired players in the NBA, I just happened to be reading this yesterday, of the retired players in the NBA last 20 years, that 58% have filed bankruptcy.
Yeah, it's horrible.
There were some guys in the 90s that were very, that are going to skew that went awry.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking almost 6 out of 10. That's just incredible.
$2 million can go faster than you think, WP says on our YouTube
Oh, my
chat.
gosh.
Well,
No,
I'm sure
no,
it can.
No.
If I bought $1 million house.
It can if you're a it can if you're a dope. It
That's
can
the
if
thing.
you're a
I think this
dope.
man is a dairy farmer. He's a smart man.
if,
fella.
if you're a dope, $2 million can
I
go
want to know what he's
fast.
doing right now, the dairy farmer. We need to find this out.
If you have half a brain, you won't.
Yeah, that's like someone's like, I won $50,000 and I went and bought a car for $60,000.
Yeah, that
well,
can
you're,
go by
that's
fast.
not.
All right.
Oh, my gosh.
Connor,
Not a good idea.
Connor has agenda-driven Phillies trivia questions.
I love that.
We'll get 2 here, and then I'm going to tell you something that's I think will blow your mind.
The $2 million thing is blowing my mind right now.
We've talked a lot about how the Eagles and Seahawks, their formula very similar, and how somebody says those two teams are drastically different.
Huh.
That's your in-segment tease, ladies and gentlemen. What do we got?
So, Andy, you are tied with John at 2 points apiece. Amy's not on the board yet, but you can get on the board.
But Amy came to the game late, so that's sort of cheating on our part.
I got it was a double-pointed question.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't.
okay,
You
sure.
went
So
over.
I have 3. John has 1. Amy's,
you went
Amy's
over.
at 0.
No, you didn't.
No, yeah, we went 2-2. I gave that one to John.
So you went over.
Okay. So
My
that is
game.
3.
Stay out of it,
All right.
Salciunas.
My game.
So these, we're going to go to odds. So I believe John has a little bit of an advantage here, being the big Vegas guy he is. So I was looking at some odds for the upcoming season. A lot of the questions we've had so far have been about what the Phillies have accomplished. The Phillies have 2 top 7 odds players for National League Cy Young. Who are they?
Christopher Sanchez.
That's 1 point, Amy.
Zach
And
Wheeler.
Zach Wheeler.
That is correct. Zach Wheeler as well. Is it surprising to you that Zach Wheeler's in the top 7
No.
in Cy Young, considering the time he could miss?
Yes, because we don't necessarily know when he's coming back.
Right. But
But still, though,
His talent.
exactly. Look
we've
at who
seen-
else is in the National League.
But I'm also going to tell you this.
Good pitcher.
Vegas putting him at top 7 odds for Cy Young does not make me still think, what if he doesn't come back himself? I don't know who Zach Wheeler is post thoracic outlet surgery.
we don't know. We don't know, and it's very dangerous to suspect because
What if he stinks? I don't know.
Everything you
He's
read
not gonna
about it,
stink.
I don't think so.
yeah, but everything you read about it, it's not predictable that
Listen, we
This
have a
is good.
lot of PTSD with thoracic outlets.
Yes, we do.
Okay? I understand that. Let's not go down the little dirty rabbit hole.
As I always say, I've learned more about the human
Well-
body via the Sixers than I did in high school or college.
the dirty rabbit hole on pitchers with this, if you expect them to come back exactly as they were to the same degree that they were, history would tell you that's usually not the case. But he plays at such an elite level
Right.
that it may be marginal.
There you go. So maybe 80% Zach
Correct.
Wheeler is still
Or
very
no,
good.
And,
Zach
and, and
Wheeler.
some guys, no, it's not even a 20% drop. So, I mean,
All right,
with
what's
Zach
what's
Wheeler.
your next question? And then I'm going to ask
I like that one.
I'm going to fire a question right back after your next one,
no.
Mr. Oz.
I thought it should make people comfortable to see Wheeler there. Okay, next one on the odds. How many teams in baseball have a higher win total line than the Philadelphia Phillies?
4.
5.
2.
John is correct, on the money with 2. Only
All right,
2
John,
teams
you're killing it.
Wow.
are ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies. That would be the Mets
And the
at
Yankees.
90.5.
Oh,
And the
Mets and
Dodgers.
Dodgers at 103.
All right, I'm going to fire back at you because you're very agenda driven with your questions today.
Yes.
I'm trying to help
I'm getting
you.
that now.
How many National League East teams have better World Series odds than the Phillies?
2.
2.
Yeah,
That's not good.
third division.
Okay.
That's not good.
I'm not even saying
Wait, the
teams.
Braves and the Mets?
The Braves and the Mets both have better World Series
Come on,
odds.
you
Slow
can't
down.
put the Braves in
There's
there.
also the
Right now,
Dodgers, the
Colin.
Yankees, the Mariners,
Connor,
and the Blue Jays.
Right now,
That's what I was
though,
thinking about for the win total. I was like, there's got to be
we're talking like third place. I mean, right now, a lot of the.
No, the stop with the Braves in the World Series, people.
Yeah, but it's just like the odds. The odds doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't. Because I could tell
They're
you
trying to get people to
there's
bet.
2 teams in their division that have better World Series odds.
If we've learned anything today, nothing's going to do anything for you.
I already
for this
told
They're
you.
trying to get people to
Yeah.
bet, and they're trying to get people to say,
oh, God. You're
Yeah.
trying. I appreciate the effort. It's just not working for me.
I knew it wasn't going to.
Yeah.
Part of the exercise is how stubborn you are with where you think the Phillies are.
All right, you know who's stubborn?
No, I don't think he is, Connor. What you're going is you're doing a lot of regular season stuff. Andrew is dealing with this franchise. We're tired of regular season stuff being. We've seen the regular season. We know that when you spend the amount of money the Phillies do, you should win 94, 95 games.
I've already given you postseason win total.
But their postseason
and-
wins aren't mattering yet. They're going backwards in the postseason.
Okay, so postseason wins don't matter.
No, they're
this
going
is what
backwards.
I'm talking about with the stubborn
They're
stuff.
not even getting to
but
the.
again-
They're not even. They're going backwards in their performance.
They're getting to the playoffs, which is important.
And then they're not doing anything with
don't
it.
do anything.
They haven't won a series the last 2 years.
Trey Turner won a batting title. What does that mean?
Doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
They're not going anywhere when they get there. The last 2 years, they haven't done a thing when they got there. They won one freaking game. That's what matters.
Two total in the
those
last 2
postseason
years.
win
You see
totals.
what I deal with here, Amy?
One game each of the last 2
This is
years.
tough.
This is going to be a long-ass baseball season, and I'm going to have no hair by the end
no,
of it.
it's just-
No, because maybe we're going to see Justin Crawford come up here and be a real answer. Maybe we're going to see Andrew Painter come up and be a real answer. Maybe we're going to see that the right field looks like it's actually an improvement.
Connor, here's how it'll be.
We're going to be objective.
Here's how it'll be long for you. Because this is the first year where even John has allowed the wake me up when October comes
to not
people
be poo-pooed.
To not be poo-pooed. So the Phillies could start the season 100-0. And there will be people that will say, wake me up when October comes. And they have every right
to do so.
to have that opinion.
Okay.
That's what'll be long for you.
It sucks,
We're
but
not going
they
to
have every
deny
right.
that the Phillies are a good baseball team. They're a good club. They are.
Good club.
See, but even when you say that, you have to go with the backhanded comments from Nathan Browski.
Because he's living off his resume, and I kind of hate it.
Okay, you can hate him.
Connor, if you're defending Dave Dombrowski this offseason, I swear to you.
I'm just defending him. I thought
No,
was
you
trying
are.
to
If you're
look
saying
to why there's some positives.
His whole, we're content. We got a good
I didn't
here. We're
say that.
content.
I did not say that.
No,
Thank
but I'm
you,
saying
Amy.
is anybody in any way, and you have defended Dave Dombrowski this offseason.
On
We've done the
certain
show
points?
with you. Yes, he is a guy who is content. The fact that I have an executive that has seen the collapses of the last 3 years, not counting the first year, which was a feel-good run, the last 3 years collapses in the postseason, and that man sits behind a microphone and is content and is rattling off regular season wins.
And that doesn't make everything he does wrong. And I'm
No.
not saying you're saying, John, I'm not saying you're saying everything he does is wrong. But
And I
there are
know.
folks in the fan base who treat every single move now like it's the wrong move.
Because they're hearing him and they're saying, I don't trust a man that leads with that message. I don't trust an executive that says, I know you've been fed a load of crap over and over again, but you know what? Let me tell you what wasn't crap. You had all those great regular season wins. They don't matter. The regular season wins do not matter when you're talking about you're supposed to be winning. This team's supposed to be winning World Series. It's not about winning regular season games. And when you spend that money, all he's doing is being adequate. They're doing adequate performance for what they're supposed to do when you spend that.
They got a good club.
Good
All
club.
right, coming up next, I'll ask you guys this now before we go to break. You can hit the music. How close in comparison are the 2024 Eagles to the 2025 Seahawks? You shake your head. You say not close?
I wouldn't say very.
I think they're a better team.
Who?
I think they're a better team. Who?
Think the Seahawks are better?
Nope.
No, the 24 Eagles.
No, I think the Eagles are the better team.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
So you think?
I don't even think it's close.
I don't think it's close.
Do you? What do you say?
Yeah, I don't think it's close.
Oh, like you say, not even close. Like the Eagles are better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not even
Oh
close.
yeah, I thought he said like it's not even close. Like that's not even a. Okay, yeah, I took that the wrong way. No.
Just wait till the next segment, ladies
Oh,
and gentlemen.
Can't wait.
It's Kincade and Salciunas with Amy 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, Dan White and Associates, they know what it's like to give you great customer service, and they've been doing it for over 4 decades, roughly. Now they specialize in retirement and financial planning for their customers. What does that mean? Well, they mean everybody is addressed individually. So if you're somebody who's closer to me, where you're thinking about that retirement, they're going to stress test your retirement plan. Have the things you've been doing, are they proper? Are they looking good? Are you on the right track? Or do you need to make a few tweaks to make sure that you're going to be playing all that golf that you dream of? Well, Dan White and Associates helps you create income in retirement that's going to support the lifestyle that you want to live, and they're going to help you find some certainty in that financial future. Because finances in retirement, well, it can be an overwhelming topic. And the experts at Dan White and Associates are going to help you make sense of your situation, whether you attend one of their educational seminars in Pennsylvania, Maryland, or Delaware, or whether you go visit them for your complimentary no-risk consultation in Glen Mills, Middletown, or Lewis, Delaware. You're going to find that Dan White and Associates has an answer for you, and it's going to be individualized. Get your complimentary no-risk consultation now. These are great folks. DanWhiteandAssociates.com on the web. Trust them. They're good folks.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles find their offensive line coach. I'm Connor Thomas. The Eagles hired their next offensive line coach following up Jeff Stoutland's departure yesterday. They bring in Chris Cooper. Cooper played 8 years at guard for the Broncos and then was Minnesota's offensive line coach for the past 4 seasons, giving him familiarity with the Eagles offensive coordinator Sean Mannion. Big question is not just what Cooper's going to do, but who he's going to be able to do it with. Questions about Lane Johnson's future, Landon Dickerson's future. So we asked Zach Berman of The Athletic yesterday on Kincade Salciunas what was the latest he knew on Lane.
The thing with Lane, he's a prideful person. I think the big thing with him is he feels like he can physically be the best right tackle in football. I think we're going to see him out there, but I think a lot of that depends on how he's feeling health-wise.
So that's something to keep an eye on, as well as Landon Dickerson's status going forward. We'll keep you updated on that, and as the Eagles continue to fill out their coaching staff. The Sixers lost to the Trailblazers last night, 135-118. Their West Coast trip comes to a close. Blazers made 22 three-pointers in the game, including 8 from Tamani Kamara, a career-high 30 points for him. They're off tonight. They have their last game before the All-Star break tomorrow night back here in South Philly. Pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow. Clearwater time. It's almost here. This update's brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MADD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MADD-HELP or visit MADD.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, it is
Got that
9:30
cadence down, Amy.
on this Tuesday
The dumpster
morning.
in a bag.
It is Kincade Salciunas, Amy with us on this Tuesday morning. So I asked a question going into the break. If you were to compare the Eagles and Seahawks, the 2024-25 Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl 59 champions, and the Super Bowl 60 champion Seattle Seahawks, and all three of you said not even close.
And that's not because we're here in Philadelphia. Objectively, look at that team. Objectively.
Yeah.
Go line by line.
Not even a question.
Great defense on both sides, but stop it.
I think
What
the
are we
Eagles'
doing?
defense better.
Yeah.
So
Better because they and
Again.
also who did they shut down?
So
Who did they dominate?
Comparison can
Drake
sometimes
May?
be the thief
Please,
of joy.
seriously?
Like,
Well,
what are we doing?
Aaron,
said it?
Aaron Schatz and the team at ESPN ranked every Super Bowl champion 1 through 60, 60 to 1. And, of course, they had to base it off of statistics because you can't just go vibe check. And
How about watching the game?
Yeah.
Did they
eyeball check.
Did they put it on watching the game, or
Who
is
were
that
you
just
playing?
not allowed to? Yeah,
they
does that not
used
count?
their DVOA method.
I love
stop
when they
it.
make up, like, it's like when they came up with QBR. I'm like, stop making that a thing.
Stop making
Not
up
a thing.
statistics.
Not a thing.
To try to make
Stop
an
trying to
argument.
make it happen.
Yep.
Here's how DVOA is explained.
What
we
is
go.
that?
One running back runs for 3 yards, another running back runs for 3 yards, which is better. Well, there's several factors.
The DVOA, of course.
What is the down and distance?
Oh,
is it
geez.
3rd and 2 or 2nd and 15? The 3-yard run on 3rd and 2 is more valuable than the 3-yard run on 2nd and 15. Where on the field is the ball? Blah, blah, blah. DVOA is a percentage for teams, measuring scoring, defenses
For teams,
for teams.
again,
Who was on the O-line?
I've said these baseball
dying to-
statistics.
I'm dying to know.
I have some buddies who have been baseball general managers and who are. I said, do you use these statistics? He goes, yeah, we laugh at them. We laugh at this one. We use this
DVOA.
one. We laugh at that one. I do not believe they're sitting in a room going, well, what is the DVOA? Let's break that one down.
Well, how about I tell you that the number one Super Bowl team all time, the team that had the best season, full season playoffs, Super
Chicago
Bowl,
Bears of 85 Bears.
they're second.
Okay, the
Ravens?
Ravens of 2000.
The 99, 2000.
How about the 1991 at the time Washington Redskins?
Okay, they were a great team.
That's a good team.
They were a great team.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the
Number
explanation.
one.
And,
Now they're not better than they weren't better than the 85 Bears.
and they mentioned some of their regular season beatdowns, 45-0,
They were
34-0,
amazing.
23-0.
They were amazing, but they were not
It's a good
better than the 85
division.
Bears.
That division was rolling back
Yep.
then.
Their playoff wins were big
Okay.
wins, beatdowns.
All right, you could probably talk
No,
me
they're
into
a really
it.
good
So
team.
they're the number one
They're a really
Super Bowl
good
team from start to finish, week 1 to Super Bowl Sunday victory.
And that is Doug Williams' championship, if I'm not mistaken.
You would be able to speak to that better
I
than I
think that
can.
is Doug Williams' championship, and he blew out, if I'm not mistaken, the Denver Broncos.
So they were they're the number one. Number 2, the 85 Bears. I don't think anybody's.
The 85 Bears is the best team, best team I ever saw.
You guys want to take, just for conversational purposes, you guys want to take a guess at who number 3 is?
John Elway's 98
Oh,
Broncos?
they were really good. They were really
Had a good
good.
run game.
That's a guess. Go ahead.
John Elway was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go one of the Cowboys teams.
Yeah, the Emmitt Smith Cowboys
Emmitt
were gonna
Smith,
be my
95 Cowboys.
The I'll just say the 92 Cowboys came in at number 6.
Okay.
So you guys aren't that far off.
All
How
right,
about
buddy.
the Super Bowl 60 champion Seattle Seahawks?
That's
Oh,
ridiculous.
come on.
That's absolutely
Considered
absurd.
the third best team.
That's so stupid.
From start to finish.
Okay, we don't need to talk
in
about
NFL
Okay, we don't need
history.
to talk about. We don't need
This
to talk
list-
about it anymore.
This list just jumped the shark.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it anymore.
Done.
Bird,
Okay.
you mean to tell me the most boring Super Bowl?
No, we don't need to
that
talk about
we
it.
ever
Against a guy
watched?
who threw the ball away and to the other team more than he threw it to his own team.
We don't need to talk about it anymore. That's a terrible
There are
list.
some terrible
Yeah,
Super
but there's
Bowls.
statistics to back it up.
No, we don't need to talk about that anymore.
No, I don't.
That's a
I don't
bad
care.
list.
Stop it.
God, that's
Now, I
horrible.
told you that they weren't even close. And so now you can figure out which one was considered the better team. That Seahawks team is third all time.
No, it's not. That's just him.
Last year's Eagles
Where are they? I'm scared to ask.
Just take
15
Sixth.
for this silly.
19.
40th.
That's so
stop it.
stupid.
Now that's just the dumbest thing of all time.
So stupid.
I don't know how this stuff happens.
I love this. Might be my
So it's-
favorite list of all
I
time.
love-
It's
I
start
love
to
it too.
finish, right?
Start
So
to finish.
they're saying the Eagles had a horrible regular season and just somehow miraculously turned
That's
it on.
so dumb.
Did they see the NFC title game?
God, that's such a dumb list. That's really terrible.
By the way, the funny
Eagles
thing
went on a
is,
tear
Why
that
do you
year.
like Connor? Why do you like bad content?
It's not bad
It's
content.
so
That's
bad. It's
bad.
fun.
No,
No,
it's
it's so
bad
bad. It's
content.
funny.
That's
No,
not
that's
even-
bad
No,
content.
it's fun.
That's not a realistic.
That's
whoever wrote,
clickbait.
whoever
That's clickbait.
came up with
terrible
that
content.
and formed whatever formulas they needed to.
Yes.
Correct.
By the
To
way,
make
the
that work.
Super Bowl 52 Eagles were 41st. So back to back, 40,
Well, listen,
40 and
but
41.
we're consistent, I suppose.
That's terrible content.
It's just
I'll give you that the 41, whatever.
No, that team was that team should not be up there
Right? Okay. Whatever.
as big. Let's put it that way. 52.
it's so
Who's
so
60th?
funny. 60th
Who's the worst Super Bowl winning team?
The 1970 Baltimore Colts.
I have no idea.
Okay.
How about the
break it down.
Jets?
Break
that
it down
team
for
stunk.
us.
How about the Jets?
Yeah.
They couldn't move the ball
How
all
about
that
the
well.
Jets who won?
Uh,
The Jets Super Bowl team should be one of those teams.
Super Bowl
Joe
one.
Namath's team. 3. I think
no.
Super Bowl 3.
let's see.
Super.
54th.
Okay, because they're bad. That's a bad team that won the
54th
Super Bowl.
for that team.
Well, it's honestly that Ravens team was a bad team.
It was a bad team?
They didn't score a touchdown for like 44 something quarters.
That's so bad.
The crazy thing is, and look,
Good defense.
He's
That
got
he got paid to do that? Yes, that's the crazy thing.
Is it one
He-
human? Because we need.
yes,
Oh.
and it's like 4 or
Oh,
5.
you said that.
4 or 5 paragraphs per team. Like this was a
It's a well thought out. He was excited.
No.
Multi-
Oh, no.
Not well thought out.
He thought it out. It
Written
doesn't mean that
article.
it's a good thought.
You said well thought out.
Well, he thought it out well.
So yeah, there's that. I
Gosh,
just want to
that's
let you guys know
horrible.
that the 59 Eagles, the Super Bowl 59 Eagles, actually weren't that good.
That's
They weren't
horrible.
that good.
The Super Bowl 59 Eagles would have trucked either one of those teams.
I just
Period. Period.
love this.
That would have
I can't
Seattle
wait
would have
to-
given them a better.
You know,
game.
I was like, I need to look at this list. I'm like, I'm not clicking on that
no, that's
list.
a wasteful.
Well,
I'm not clicking on that
now
list.
now you don't have to. I did it.
Oh
I
my
did it
gosh.
for
clicking
you.
on the list now.
40th. We were talking last year. There were
40th.
conversations in the summer about is this a top 5 football team in the history
Right,
of the NFL?
right. Like we literally had
It's
that
not even a
conversation.
Top 35 Super Bowl
Oh my
team.
gosh,
not,
that's so
not
terrible.
according to the Shats,
What a
man.
bad
That's crazy.
List. Yeah, he lives up to his name.
Why? He did the work.
Yeah.
He did.
I give him credit for
Multiple?
putting together.
No.
I'm going to craft whatever metrics. I'm going to find them.
I'm going to make up crap, and then
Well, DVOA, man. It's a
yeah,
stat.
it's great.
DVOA.
That's great.
DVOA. It's like
Uh-huh.
a stat that the Phillies probably use.
Yeah,
Tell us that
yeah.
they
It
have
It
a
was
good
just one of
club.
those he tried to make it like, so here's how to make an even playing field from a 1970 Super Bowl to a 2020.
so
Yeah,
bad.
exactly. All right, Connor Thomas. What positive Phillies trivia questions do you have for us?
All right, let's go with this one. Where do the Phillies rank in strikeouts since the start of the 2022 season?
Striking out like batting, or the pitchers are striking people out?
Batters. Closest 2 will get the point.
16th.
12th.
8th.
It is 16th. John
Are you
is correct.
kidding?
Wow.
Absolutely nailed it.
crazy.
I get $500 from Drew Carey.
It is not the Price is Right.
He gives you
yes.
$500.
Correct answer there. Now you might say, how is this a positive stat? Anyone who looks
I
at the
think
Phillies,
that's positive.
No, that's positive. yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's this conception about the Phillies. I don't want to call it a misconception because they strike out a bunch, but that they're at like the bottom of the barrel every year. They strike out all the time. They can't hit. They're a middle of the pack strikeout team that trades that for home runs, and that's something that puts them above teams like the Yankees, the Brewers, the Atlanta Braves, in that same stretch where all of those teams have been very competitive and postseason competitive.
Now, this was last year?
That was since 2022.
Okay.
While this run has been going on. That's about where I would think they were. The question of that is that who is striking out for them?
And that's a fair point.
The critical players,
Yeah.
the highest price guys, the guys you need
The
to do the most,
situations.
or other guys, scrubs. The Scrabinis strike out for them. Our biggest clutch, or non-clutch players are the ones who are striking out.
Now, Brandon Marsh is a big part of that strikeouts. Max Kepler last year was a big part of that strikeout. Nick Castellanos.
Yeah,
a
we
big
can
part.
find the outliers if we want to, and that's
I mean,
that's
I wouldn't
would
call
say they're
those
outliers. Those
No,
are
but I
main
mean, there's
people.
when again, I'm talking October, folks. You guys
Yeah.
want to talk regular season? I'm talking October when our biggest stars, Schwarber, Harper, don't even have to be thrown strikes. You do not even have to throw them strikes, and they will swing at them.
It was a lot of trying to do too much.
And by the way, that was in 22.
Yeah.
Employed by the Astros, and then the Diamondbacks did it, and it's been done over and over again, and it never changes.
Yep.
Never changes.
All
Now,
right.
San Diego, thankfully, didn't think about it at Bedlam at the Bank.
Amy, we brought it up earlier. Can you explain to me what the league may do with like the Utah Jazz?
They got to punish them. This is ridiculous. For those who are not paying attention, it is egregious. So the Sixers had the tank in the process. We were here.
Yeah.
We all saw it. And it got so bad, and they hated the general manager so much that they removed him, and they gave us our own general manager, who then brought in his son. Okay. It's just,
when Amy sighs, it's
when that 30 for 30 comes out, and it'll be a 60 for 60 because it is involved. It was because the league doesn't like to look bad.
Yeah.
They don't like a marquee franchise in a major city looking bad.
With all due respect to Utah.
That's the only thing that's saving Utah.
Salt Lake is a beautiful city, by the way.
Yeah,
really
but
nice.
nobody's thinking of them as
But nobody's thinking of them as
cream
a
of the crop
marquee.
basketball
They're
town.
called the Jazz. There's
Which
any
never should have
Jazz there?
Never should have happened when they should have left the name in New Orleans.
Quiet. Anyway, but they have to do something about this because the blueprint is being it's so obvious. They're sitting their players, and they're sitting them, even if they started them, they're sitting them at the half, which is how you get around it. So the league, in trying to curb some of this stuff, you can't sit players on unless there's like a known injury for the injury management. If it's a big game, one of the signature games, national TV, which the Jazz aren't on, but they frown upon. You cannot sit a star on that. You have all these things, and their league will punish you if you don't follow their rules. The Jazz are trying to get around that by sitting guys after the halftime, or they're benching them for the entire fourth quarter. It's almost like when the Sixers were kind of playing well during the process, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, is that guy any good? No, you're gone now."
Yeah.
Drew Holiday out.
Instead,
Jeremy
the Jazz are
Grant, done.
saying, well, we want to build around Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr., who we traded for, so we're going to have them play the first three quarters,
so you
but
can
then
see,
the fourth quarter,
we actually don't want to win the game.
You're not going to play.
They never want to hear from anybody in Philadelphia ever, though, about this topic, the league.
This
as
city
an NBA, should never, ever complain about
it. The commissioner cannot look at that and think
this happen.
This is acceptable.
This city should never complain about it.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm saying that the league is. You asked me what the league was going to do. The league has to step in.
They have to do something.
Will
you
they?
Can't have this.
Do you think they will, though?
Because it's a copycat league. As soon as you see the Jazz doing it, guess who else is going to start doing it?
You know what? Danny. I wonder if Danny's good friends.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Just saying.
And the Mormon wives are very powerful.
Coming up next, Professor
What?
John.
They have a big reality show.
The who? The Jazz
Mormon
do?
wives. The Mormon wives, yes. You have to look
Yeah,
it up,
it's-
Amy.
now you've-
Google it.
I'm out.
Very
I'm
powerful.
derailed. I've not seen that show.
I'm going to give
You're
you
working too
all
much.
a homework assignment for tomorrow's show, but Amy's going to have the pop quiz.
Oh.
Because we will then use your answer for the show tomorrow. All right?
get
We
it
got a
right.
pop quiz coming up next. It's about the Phillies. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
If you get a test result that doesn't seem right, make sure you're following up on it. And should a cancer diagnosis come into your life, I want you to check out my friends at the Consultants in Medical Oncology and Hematology. I say friends, I should say family, because they saved my life. Dr. John Sprandio Jr. was the quarterback of my cancer care, and I can tell you that I wouldn't be here today without him. The greatest, absolutely the greatest people in the business. And I can tell you, too, that the protocol that they came up with to save my life was one that another healthcare system in town, big name, too, said, yeah, we don't really think this is an option for you. Well, thank God I listened to the Consultants in Medical Oncology and Hematology. They are the best. You see, they're not associated with just one healthcare system since they're independent. That means they can work across healthcare systems, so they're not tied to one set of doctors and one set of barriers. So there's not really like those guardrails set up. They work with you. They're very flexible, and their team is incredible. They take the stress out of the system for you so you can just worry about getting well. And the Consultants in Medical Oncology and Hematology have changed my life, the life of so many that I've referred to them, and so many of our listeners that have made the decision to go and get care from them. So check it out, cmoh.org. Take the first step towards peace of mind. Take the stress out of your cancer recovery. It's the Consultants in Medical Oncology and Hematology. Please tell them John Kincade sent you.
Marks, you guessed it with me, John Marks. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. Let's get back to more of Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
You will hear that, man. Johnny Marks coming up at 10 o'clock. Patricia Caputo in for Ray. Ray is he had to get on a flight yesterday.
Yeah, he's in San Antonio.
Temple Women's Hoops. Down.
Oh, Ray on the Riverwalk? Oh,
yeah, Ray's
so much fun.
I'm sure Ray's going to have a good time as always.
So much fun on the Riverwalk. Oh, it's fun.
I'm sure he's going to have a good time. All right, Amy, you have a pop quiz.
Pop quiz.
Were you good at those?
I got nervous.
Homework assignment for John and Connor and myself.
Okay.
When it comes to the Phillies, because tomorrow is pitchers and catchers reporting day.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yay.
Yay.
I want to know. I don't need your answer yet, Connor. John, we're going to save it for tomorrow, but Amy's got the pop quiz. I'm sorry.
Pop quiz. Okay.
Come on, Amy.
Locked in.
Give me 5, if you can, players where you have confidence in. And it's boom. That's it.
Okay.
Not big moment, not
Just I believe in them. I
5
believe.
players, Phillies, that you have confidence in.
Christopher Sanchez.
Okay.
Kyle Schwarber.
Okay.
Trey Turner.
Okay.
Bryce Harper.
Okay.
As a battery mate, I'm going to go JT Realmuto.
All right.
That's all I got. I don't feel good.
All right.
And we're holding our commentary.
Yes.
Okay.
So those are my 5.
And again, just confidence, not confidence in playoffs, because 3 of those names
really
completely go
You
off.
didn't say playoffs
No,
Andrew.
Just
you
confidence.
said confidence.
No, you said
in their
confidence in
role.
the player.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Yep.
So that is the criteria.
To do what it is they're required to do.
Yep. And
Okay.
we will have our answers tomorrow. Make sure, Connor, if you can
5.
jot those down. 5. And you had-
Confidence.
I'm
in the
disturbed that I only
player.
had one pitcher, but I guess that's about right.
Yeah, just
Have
gotta
you
look.
seen the rotation?
The Wheeler and the Wheeler's a legitimate question.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I have confidence if he's back. I think that he'll be able to be when he's coming back. I think that he'll be able to be, a very good pitcher. I don't have like a lot of doubt. I just want to win. He's coming back.
Correct.
I don't have a lot of people in the outfield. I'm excited.
Another thing I'm curious to get
Not
in-
angels in those outfields.
No, there are not.
There's one former Angel though.
That's true, Brandon Marsh.
Hey, there you go.
Very quick.
When I said the Phillies, you guys both gave a yay.
Yeah.
I love spring
No, look,
training.
we're excited. Pitchers and catchers reporting is great.
Andrew Ellis chimes in on YouTube saying that yay reaction by John and Amy was the perfect symbolism of the excitement of this city about the Phillies.
No, I think it's
No,
more than
we're
that.
excited.
I would think we were just saying like we were just waiting for the. I think John and I were both waiting for the.
Yay. Like it's
Let's
like,
go.
like look,
I'm excited for pitchers and catchers reporting.
I'm excited for them to report, sure. And I'm excited for new storylines. Justin Crawford. Excited
Andrew
to see-
Painter.
Yeah, excited.
Andrew Painter.
Yeah.
I'm excited I want to see, did they improve right field? I'm waiting to see how Dave Dombrowski handles the Nick Castellanos uncomfortable situation right now that's going on because he has not been able to move an asset that he devalued. And right now across baseball, they're a laughing stock that this guy is like.
I mean, he devalued him, but the devaluing had already
So again,
occurred. He
Castellanos
pointed out
not
the
worth the
devaluing.
$20 million. So I would imagine he could have been traded for, and somebody's eaten half of it.
I can assure
With
you,
the way they talked him down.
That was it.
there are players all over baseball.
That's the danger of like actually saying things. You should sometimes be a little bit closer.
There
to
are players all over baseball who have produced far less than Nick Castellanos with bad contracts.
Correct.
Who teams have been able to move.
Yeah.
Because you know what they haven't done? They haven't trashed them in the public square.
I just saw a tweet from Johnny Sunshine, John Clark, who
What's
I
up?
believe will be on with Unfiltered
And he's
tomorrow.
already down there, like,
He got
living
there
his
yesterday.
life.
Phillies manager Rob Thompson believes the Phillies right now
It's already on my notes for tomorrow.
are better this year than they were at any point last year going into this season.
No, he says at this point.
At this point,
Read it correct. Not at any point.
At this point,
they're better than they were last year. So
going into the season.
Yeah,
So
so,
going
they're
into the
better.
season.
They're better right now than they were last year at this
going
point.
into the season, they're better. And I would say if the Eagles, if you leave right now, how long would it take to drive to Clearwater? 19 hours?
A little less.
Okay, someone from the training
18?
staff of the Eagles.
Look at it right
drive
17.
down, bring the blue tent, bring it down to Clearwater, and have Rob Thompson immediately brought into the blue tent.
I'm going to tell you why he's absolutely right tomorrow.
Yeah, that's great.
Of course you
Well,
are.
you shouldn't. You should be the next person into the blue tent.
16 hours.
16 hours. Have him in the blue, and have Rob go into the blue tent and explain it, because they're out of their minds. Out of their minds.
There's an accident just outside of Tampa that might slow you
might
down.
hold him down there. See, anything
Yeah,
around
but that could change.
275
in the next 16 hours.
No, 275 and 75 can always screw you up.
Once you get close to Jacksonville, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
He won't be
I
near
got,
Jacksonville.
I got 16 hours and
Go
15
down
minutes.
95.
They're not going
I
down
did it from
95.
yeah. I guess I did it from.
No, that's what this says.
They're
This
gonna-
says
why would he
95.
Why would
I've
he go
driven to Florida
95
before.
It's
though?
the quickest route.
Yeah.
Going 95?
Yes.
You don't know ball,
Why
bro.
would they
Yeah.
peel out? Why would they peel off to 75 and then go across 75?
That's
It doesn't make
16
any
hours.
sense.
That's 16 hours and 27 minutes. So that's 12
Yeah,
minutes more.
you get off
12 minutes.
75
No, they're not going. I bet you the Phillies
75
thing did not take
and
95.
just outside Ocala.
Get ready
you get
to
on
learn
75.
traffic, buddy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
not
You-
doing that.
You seem
You
like
take
you
95 the whole
Do
way.
you like traffic, John?
Yes,
Till
he's not
Jacksonville.
doing that.
That sucks that you like traffic.
Yes.
But you're going to cut over? When are you getting on 75?
They're getting on 75 earlier than that. They're going to cut across before then, I would believe.
No, you're going to get on there like outside of a.
Well, if you needed proof, we could argue about everything.
There you go.
And we will, I'm
We're all
sure,
pulling up our
Unless they
apps
wanted to
now.
go to
I'm sure
south
we'll
of
do
the
that
border.
Our map,
tomorrow.
like, oh, right.
we will do that tomorrow. Argue about the Philadelphia Phillies.
Hope the
who
day the
show-
pitchers and catchers
who show
report.
up pitchers and catchers report. I know people are very excited for
I'll
it,
be locked in.
which is great. All right, Middays with Marks comes your way next. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Amy, thank
Thank
you.
you,
as always.
guys.
We'll see you on Friday. Fridays with Fadul. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning on Adam Schefter Wednesday. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we'll